I'd say we missed her, but she's actually pretty much done nothing the entire time we've been with her. So
just a meta a bit. I don't like the NPCs, and I never have. I think they steal a certain sense of agency away from the party, which I don't like as a DM. And frankly, they're just a pain in the ass to run. So yeah, she didn't do anything because I didn't have her do anything because I was busy doing other stuff. so to Torrent, we bid you adieu and good riddance.
Don't
let the door hit you.
Yeah, where Iomade split you. So, but he was talking to you. He's basically like, look, my name's Indomitable. No wound can defeat me. You have released me from my fleshy prison, but I will lend you a portion of my power if you help me escape. And he basically told a story that essentially runs like this. Somehow some fays that live at this lakeside village managed to summon, well, not so much summon, but call or entice is the word he used, entice me here, then bound me to this plane and caused me to cause all this trouble in the fire forest. And he'll admit, he's like, look, I didn't mean to do this. This fire forest is obviously extra fiery because of me, but I am a fire spirit. That's what my mere proximity here causes the problems that are doing it. He's not like, I'm not doing it. It's just because I'm here. But you got the impression that because that whoever brought him here and bound him here definitely had enhancing the fieriness of the fire forest in mind as a problematic thing. So he was very kind of cryptic about who it was and what it was that bound him here. But he basically says, a fae of this land enticed me and brought me here and bound me by a stratagem. That was the word he used. And then he said that if you, and you're like, well, how can we help you? And he's asking you to help him. He says, how can we help you? He says, end the song of the deep, the song of agony and eternal vigil. Silence the 40 tongues who hold me here, who doom themselves to relentless flame, and I can return back to my place. Titus, you did a knowledge planes check at one point, and basically the information you got was like, you were trying to find out what kind of creature, what manner of creature Indomitable was. And you're still unsure exactly, but you are aware, and you told everybody, basically there are creatures associated, there are spirit creatures that are associated with the elemental planes that tend to embody the sort of aspect of that plane. So if Indomitable is indeed some sort of creature from the plane of fire, he would have a lot of those aspects that associate with fire. Now these creatures, and you did have read before that these creatures can be trapped or placed into mortal bodies of various kinds. They don't like it, but it does tend to trap them in places, and they can be coerced essentially, much in the same way that the like if you were summoning an outsider and you use the correct spells and you use the correct binding techniques, you can force an outsider to do your bidding. It's a dangerous game, usually it's very high level magic users that even bother to engage such things, because the danger inherent in the entire process is pretty significant. But if you are successful, you have essentially a servant that is extremely powerful.
So he wants us to silence the 40 voices?
Right. So what he says is, he says, rest your flesh now in the ruins beyond the bridge. Then you must follow the river down to the singing lake. I lie trapped beneath the surface. Set me free. And so you remember talking that this lake village was the same one that the Plains elves said you will find haven there. It's not the only elven village here. In fact, nearby, you suspect that there's an elven village across that bridge that you see to the southeast, or there's supposed to be. Now you're not 100% sure, but you think that this could be the elven village they were talking about, or this one by the lake. You do remember the Plains elves talking about a lakeside village that was protected from the fire forest by a variety of magics, not the least of which was the water that sort of surrounded them. But in this case, you do know that Lorelei especially is flying over that direction, over the other side of the bridge, and she's like, yeah, there is what looks to be the remnants of some sort of village here. Now she's not sophisticated enough a creature, nor is she educated enough to be a judicious about what sort of village it might be or what's going on there. But there's domiciles there, is what she would basically say. So it could be that village, it could be a different village. But you have heard people talk about an elvish village by the lake, which is where you guys are headed. It's sort of an interstitial stopover in between the edge of the fire forest and the Lyceum in that city that you're headed towards. But the Plains elves told you, they were like, look, tell them our names, tell them we sent you, tell them Large Marge sent you, and they'll give you a place to.
Gotcha.
Hey, real quick, is anybody else hurt besides Ono? I'm not seeing anybody.
I got hurt a bit. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to do a burst for me and Ono to try to get us back a little bit.
Thank you.
While we're here.
I asked Les to help with that one.
Yeah, Les, can you give me a 2d6 roll, please, sir?
2d6 coming up. Let's see. Here we go.
That's what a knowledge local or history rather be helpful and maybe getting a
There you
little
go.
more.
Woo.
Nice. Thank you.
Thank you.
Say that again. A knowledge local would help for what? What kind of question are you
Knowledge
asking?
history, would a knowledge history give us any more information? I dig back in my,
Sure, theoretically.
I'm gonna try it. Maybe we don't have everything in the puzzle.
So 22. So you are a generally speaking, were up until not very long ago a resident of Gate Pass. So a lot of the knowledge that you have, you'd never been to the Fire Force before, correct? As a character. So yeah, a lot of this knowledge would be sort of book learning. But generally speaking, the Fire Forest was home to many elven villages, some of them quite small, but almost all of the elves that lived in the fire forest had learned over time to sort of tame the more problematic aspects of living in a fire forest, and were able to create barriers, translate the fire into certain ways. They were able to do it. So this fire forest is especially along the trails, are dotted with these little small villages of elves and fae that kind of go all the way, that sort of line the track to the city that contains the Lyceum. And often as not, when travelers would come through, generally speaking, until relatively recently, the fire forest has been reasonably safe for those that can, take sort of a general set of precautions. What you're finding out now is that the summoning, or I keep saying summoning, the enticing and trapping of Indomitable in the fire forest has exacerbated the nature of the fire forest such that people can't control it and moderate it and deal with it effectively anymore. So you saw, like the last time we played, you saw the dead family that had tried to escape into the fire forest, which they would legitimately could have thought of as this would be a place where they would be able to, get some respite. That they would be able to escape to, that maybe to one of the elven villages themselves, or considering the alignment of the people that they were maybe amongst the hobbits. Who knows? The hobbits certainly live here. They certainly seem to have accommodated the problems associated with Indomitable with aplomb. So, but it could be that there are other problems as well.
We know there's a demon still here that wants what we've got.
Well, yes, which is interesting. Which is another question. Why would, and it was a bone devil in this case, why would a bone devil be so interested in acquiring a case full of Sargavan military secrets?
Does this guy know anything about the bone devil that's traipsing around here?
So what he will say is, so Indomitable is a little bit cryptic. What he will say is, there is one whose blade shall cross your trail that exists in the fire forest. He is a servant of a greater evil. Beyond that, that's all he really knows. So you get the impression that he is referring to the to this bone devil, but honestly, he doesn't say bone devil.
Right.
He doesn't. Who knows? But he does mention that he is a servant to a greater evil.
Heroin.
Aren't we all?
Tweeting starting early, I think.
All right. Well, I mean, I'm willing to go down the river and find these 40 voices. And does he want us to punch them or what?
Well, destroy them. Essentially, he's like, look, you have to silence the 40 tongues who hold me here. And, essentially, I mean, and then you'll release me.
We'll just remove 40 tongues. That's all we need to do.
Good.
So we just have to find 20 pairs of shoes.
Exactly. Wait, no, 80. Wait. No, 40.
40 pair of shoes.
Don't confuse me with your maze of circular mathematics.
So do we know anything about Torrent? What her culture or?
Well, she was from Gate Pass, and she was Gate Pass. I mean, the reason you knew of her at the start of the adventure was that you guys recognized her as being sort of high up in sort of the Gate Pass, for lack of a better term. I use the term militsiya, but essentially is like gate. Their motto was Gate Pass for Gate Passers, right? They didn't want any Sargavan or Mwangi influence affecting the neutrality of Gate Pass.
No, what I'm asking is, does she
He wants to bury her.
would she prefer to be buried, burned, sent down the river in a flaming Viking ship? What's the funerary situation going on here?
She never spoke of what would happen to her if she was killed.
So in Gate
Never
Pass, what's standard?
Yeah, what's normally
Gate Pass is a mountain town. There's not a lot of burial areas, so burning typically. There are some subsets of places that take bodies up to the highest points on the edges of the valley. Gate Pass is in a valley, so some religious orders will take bodies of the dead up to the tops of the valley, the highest places, and leave those bodies there for for the crows and things like that, for birds to
Sometimes we just eat them.
Okay, so they're a fairly pragmatic bunch when it comes to that.
yeah, generally speaking.
Not a bunch of extra ceremony. And I don't think I have any sort of, I have knowledge. Well, wait a minute. Where is it? I have knowledge local,
Okay.
but I don't have any religion.
I do.
Yeah. Go.
So
I can look.
yeah, I'm thinking at this point, unless anybody has a better idea or a more appropriate one from a religious standpoint, I think we just move off to where a safe spot near the trees, because I realize they're all burning, and bury her somewhat appropriately. If there are religious people among us, let them say whatever words they're going to, and then we can move on.
I actually have knowledge religion since I'm a monk.
But do we know what religion she was?
I'll just make something up.
Okay, that'll work.
All right, so you're just gonna bury her in the ground?
Yeah, I mean, I'm used to hard work. Do we have a shovel or some sort of tool to dig dirt?
We got a lot of fire.
That I don't know if you guys have any tools.
I mean,
We had someone who was easily making 10 feet pit in the ground. I think that
Yeah,
works.
there we go. We can do that. It's a great idea.
Of course, I don't know what happens when the magic fades. Does the pit?
There's a
Phil,
bonfire
just
laying
brings
across the
everything
road.
back.
We could just,
Yeah. There's plenty of fire. That's really fast.
Yeah.
Well, I think we're halfway home on that one from the sounds of things. So if we're going to do the Viking funeral, that works too.
you know what? I mean, I don't know what Torrent would have preferred, and in my opinion, fire, a funeral pyre is clean, fast, effective. I think we could probably just put her in a particularly hot place in the fire forest and let nature take its course. And oh no, the 18-year-old monk will say a few words.
And it doesn't hurt that she's already halfway there, so.
Yes.
That's what I'm saying. We're kind of halfway home on that stretch.
Okay.
So whatever works out to satisfy the goodness of one of our party member, albeit a completely useless one, has fallen. We will appropriately deal with that situation and then move the hell on.
All right. I will help take Torrent to the fire and the nearest hot fire, and I will heave ho, toss her in to May.
Actually, the fire elemental could probably help us do that a little easier.
True.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Would it be willing to pick her up and put her in the fire? Or
He's
to
not
just
really here.
incinerate her? Did it leave already?
Well, he's like an image because he said he's being held like.
Yeah, he's physically he's being held, so this is sort of a projection almost that you can
so
see, and
we
he's
can't
like, I
figure
cannot
anything out.
help you. I can't unless the only, and you get the impression that the only reason he could fight you is because he was stuck in the body of that that giant fire beetle. But now he's released. He returns to more of a spirit kind of aspect. Certainly can't lift.
Night.
Right.
Please.
Good night, guys.
Night.
Yeah,
Good night.
So now this creature is as useless as Torrent was. And
but at least he's not going to follow you around.
You know,
Good point.
well, look, you know what? Let's just get it done. So I will lift up Torrent. I will drag her. I will carry her as much as I can.
You say drag or gag?
Drag. You know,
Okay.
I mean,
Can't you do both?
I realize I might have to make 2 trips, but will bring Torrent to the fire. I will toss her in, and I say, may the gods receive the body and soul of our colleague Torrent. Her bravery and her fortitude will be long remembered in the hills and valleys of what's this place called again?
The fire forest, or the
Fire
to
forest.
use the elven word, the Inendodotar.
The Inendo, the Inendo Utar.
So
Amen.
yeah, you pick her up and you can feel, so she's still, even though she's been crushed and burned, you can still feel the breastplate underneath her robes, which has obviously been caved in, by the weight of the thing. Her backpack and her scabbard kind of like drag along the ground as you sort of lift her up.
Yeah, I'll help him get the backpack and scabbard off of her so that doesn't weigh that down.
You're going to take that stuff off?
Yeah,
We're
I'm gonna
taking
take that
everything
stuff off.
valuable. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I
She
was going to
does.
say it a little nicer than that, Mike, but yes, I'm a
Oh,
thief.
no.
I'm going to rob the body.
That's not the way we work. We're not subtle. We pretty much call it like it is and then move on.
Yes, loot. Loot is what we're talking about. Loot the body.
Okay. Well, so she does have some stuff on her. So her if you sort of peel away some of the cloaks and robes that she's wearing, she does have a breastplate on. Now it is crushed, but it looks like it would have been masterwork if it wasn't smushed so bad. And it does have a lot of sort of ornate scroll work on it, a lot of water themes, dolphins and killer whales and things like that, sort of engraved on the breastplate. Potentially could be fixed.
Isn't that ironic?
Yeah, exactly. She died by fire.
Yes. Definitely take that because
Okay.
Masterwork breastplate.
Next to her, a little bit worse for wear, is a light crossbow that she carried. And on her hip is her crossbow case, which is virtually undamaged. Her crossbow bolt case, which is on her hip. The crossbow radiates a moderate amount of magic.
we'll take that.
Okay. She also has a short sword in a scabbard. The scabbard is kind of burnt, but the blade underneath is okay and is seems to be sharp and is quite. It also radiates a little bit of magic too.
I think we just
Nice.
learned something. I think we just learned that we need to take all of Les's NPCs and kill them off immediately because they're worth more dead than alive.
Yeah, because they've got stuff.
We look at the old man and say, "You're next, dude."
He runs off into the fire forest. She also has a small necklace on with a blue jewel, which also radiates magic.
Yeah, we're taking all that and
Oh, yeah.
someone's
Is anybody writing it down?
I am.
Okay,
Thank
good.
you.
So we've got
the
light crossbow, short sword, and necklace are magic. The mundane items are the masterwork breastplate, which is currently damaged.
Yeah, it's currently damaged, and the if you pop open the crossbow bolt case, she's got like 40 bolts in there. Those seem to be mundane too.
yeah, she's got all 40 of them because she hasn't done a dang thing.
Yeah.
I can mend that breastplate.
Nice.
I just got to memorize a certain spell to do it.
Okay. So I've got all that.
Inside her pack is the usual kind of traveling crap: bedroll, a couple of water skins, some food, some dried lembas bread. But you also find a small tube made of bone that unscrews at one end.
Okay.
And you, as you shake it, so it's kind of wide. It's actually about maybe, how much is that? Probably 2 inches in diameter. So it's larger than your average scroll case, but about the same sort of construction and size.
Dare we open it? Or maybe not here, maybe not now.
It's already opened.
Yeah, let's
Oh.
open it.
It's already
Yeah.
open.
I went, yeah, should we open this? And I'm sitting there with it open and pulling stuff
Going,
out going, what?
All right. There is a single piece of paper, non-magical, in there that says, "Friends, in the event of my death, use the medallion to ensure that you are recognized by our friends and allies. Take the material to the fire forest. Seek out the Fae at Lake Sela. They will know what to do. Burn my body. I have no further use of it."
Oh,
And
damn,
in-
that would
Oh, well,
have been
no,
something to know. Yeah, that would have been something to know 5 minutes ago.
Definitely. Now we know. At least we don't kill them first and raid their stuff the minute we meet them. At least raid their shit the minute they die, and then we're
Right.
all about raiding them.
And so now we have a copper medallion.
And so inside is a copper medallion on a small cheap chain that was rattling around inside there.
Okay. So I have that down.
Wait,
That's
are we
it.
supposed to use that for ID or her gem?
Well, the
I
gem
see.
radiates magic. She was wearing it on a necklace around her neck. It was so that it was touching her skin.
Okay, but was the note referring to this medallion or the medallion she was wearing?
The
I
one
think
that
it was-
is this one. It wouldn't
I
be
think
the
it's this
magical
one.
It wouldn't be the magical one.
Right.
I don't know. It could be.
So this little copper thing is what we use to make sure that the allies that we're after know that we're the good guys.
Theoretically,
Okay.
yeah, at least according to her note.
Okay. So put all that together and package it up. Now we can move on.
Okay. Indomitable basically looks down upon you and he's like, "Free me, and I will grant you a great power. Fail me, and I will seek you out in the forest." And with that, he disappears.
Okay.
See, I thought you were going to say when you said he mentioned something after we were done, I thought he was going to ask for a share.
Now, Indomitable has no need for treasure. All right, so a couple of things going on, right? So you're trying to get to this lakeside elvish village, which may or may not have a bunch of fae in it, which may or may not have a bunch of fae in it, a fae or more than one fae, who have enticed a powerful fire spirit from the elemental plane of fire, brought it here, bound it here, and created all this havoc in the fire forest. You also have other villages which you are trying to figure out. You've lost one of your guys. You're still trying to get Kristen and Hadine into the Lyceum because you still got this case of Sargavan's secrets, which hopefully still is valuable. I mean, you guys have been on the road for 3-4 days now.
Yeah.
So there's a lot to go on. The Indomitable did say rest in the village. You can rest in the village. if you wish. And basically, you get the impression he was referring to the village across the bridge that is down to the southeast of the thing. These fires actually go out eventually. You get the impression that it was Indomitable who was sort of peeling those up, either him or the Bone Devil who had trapped you here as well. So,
Okay.
all right. So polearm, hold your horses. Wait a second. What are you guys doing? Are you just running across there? You're not enlarged. You're not enlarged anymore either. So
No, yeah, I'm not. I'm going to check on Lorelei, so just make sure she's okay.
okay. You give me a perception check, or if you have knowledge engineering or anything like that.
Don't have knowledge in engineering. Perception check 26.
26. All right. As you are coming across here, about here in the middle of the thing. So this over here is essentially a guard tower. It looks like it has 2 floors. The door is shut, and it's very obviously got some crudely done glyphs on the door itself facing you. So it obviously, these glyphs look like that. I mean, you suspect they may be ensorcelled. You haven't done any detect magic on them, but they look very crudely done, like maybe they were carved into the door with a dagger or some sort. Over on the behind you, where you're standing now, to the edge, your perception check reveals that there's a piece of that bridge that you suspect might be weak. That too much pressure on it might cause it to, there. And so the bridge has like a little stone railing. It's a little stone bridge that sort of arches across the thing. Your perception check basically realizes there's a fair amount of cracks in this side of the railing that if you were to put too much pressure over there, or somebody leaned against it or something like that, could end up going ass over tea kettle into the river. The river is no great shakes. It is due to its proximity to the fire forest. The water looks quite warm. There's a fair amount of fish floating on the top, and some reeds and stuff in the towards the sides and in the middle. But the water itself is steaming a bit. So warm water. Probably too warm for the local fauna.
And I'll tell everyone to be careful on the bridge. Looks like it's about ready to fall down. And then I'll go do a magic check on the glyphs, see if they are magic.
Okay, you're gonna take a quick look. How close do you get?
Right there. So 10 feet.
About 10 feet away. Okay. Yeah. So you're gonna do detect magic?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, they are magical. And let me see what kind of magic I have. I don't have that handy.
Anybody else need to rest at all?
Yeah, we're going to rest now, Jennifer.
It's abjuration magic if you take a moment to look at it. But yeah, it looks like a warding glyph of some kind.
Okay, I'm gonna holler out, see if anybody's in there, just out of curiosity.
All right, just yell out, "Hey, you in the tower, come on out!" Nothing,
Your hands
no
up.
response.
Okay, can I do a spellcraft check to try to read the glyph, figure
Sure.
out what it is?
Sure.
Wait a minute, I think I have that. Do I? Oh, I didn't do that one.
I'll be back. I have to put Cosmo to bed.
Night, Cosmo.
14.
14. Yeah, you suspect that it is well, it's obviously to your eyes some sort of warding. It radiates abjuration magic. Somebody scrawled it on here. Your guess is that it's probably based on the way your history with elvish magic and the way that this is written is probably some sort of cold magic associated with it.
Like a trap.
Theoretically.
So when Chuck gets back.
Can I try to do a disable device on it?
You can, but the problem is you have to get close enough. Your reluctant is to get close enough to do it might set it off. unless you were protected in some way.
Anybody have any way to protect against cold?
Mm,
Or a way to try and do a disable check from beyond, from a certain distance. You're at 10 feet, so 10 feet doesn't set it off. But
Yeah.
closer might.
Okay, Chuck, there's a trap on this thing, but you might set it off getting close enough to it to disable it.
Okay.
Can I try to use my giant sticker to disable it? Maybe to try to scratch it out? Or would that
Possibly, yeah. Yeah, possibly.
Well, as a secondary question, if you passed by it on the far end of the bridge that you have already said the railing's kind of rickety and it didn't do anything, if we all single file passed by it on that far edge and therefore not triggering it, couldn't we just get past it without messing with it?
Yeah, we could, but I mean, maybe there's something good in there. If somebody went to the trouble to glyph it, then maybe there's something worthwhile to get in there. Something that could help us.
Or maybe you just get blown through the weak banister into the sauna of a river. That might be the only thing that's there.
Could be.
Arendar, give me a perception check when you get a moment.
Maybe we could just try shooting an arrow into the door from 30 foot back. See if that'd set it off. I guess
26.
glyphs don't really go away though, right? They just pretty much activate anytime they're.
Glyphs activate when their triggering mechanism is done. A normal trap might react to the arrow. Your spellcraft check probably would be like this. The glyph's not going to activate if you just shoot an arrow into it. It's waiting for purpose. Arendar, as you are standing at the edge of the bridge, sort of looking out into the steamy water, and you can see the reeds and the fish and that kind of stuff in the end. As you're looking down there, about here, can you? Oh wait, you can't see that because I'm on the wrong thing. About here or so, which is about 80 feet behind the tower that sits here. You see that there are reeds coming up in the tower, the coming up from the water. The water doesn't strike you as being super deep, but and there are reeds coming up from the water. But as you're watching them and sort of idly looking, you see those reeds are actually moving towards this. Oh, geez, I hate this color. Hold on a second. They're moving in this direction.
I can't see it, Les.
Oh, my stupid Roll20 is being a turd.
So they're moving upstream
They're moving in that direction right there.
against the current.
Yes, they are moving against the current
Towards us.
towards the bridge. Yeah.
interesting.
Well, I'm gonna point it out and say, hey, guys, there's something coming this way, and point out the movement.
Right. So I'm going to just step into here.
Okay.
Do you guys want me to attempt to deal with these traps?
Not with this thing coming up, no.
Or do you want to deal with whatever's about to come out of the water?
Yeah, let's deal with that first. The trap's not going anywhere.
As you watch the reeds, they get to about.
Oh, no, that's where the weakened bridge is.
Yeah, I want to stay on this side of the bridge. You're gonna.
Oh,
fall
oh.
over.
Do you guys warn them in time?
I don't know. Did we?
Oh no! Dude, give me a quick wisdom check.
Wisdom check. Do-
Got it. Yeah, you warned him in time, and he managed to miss the thing. You're like, oh, don't lead up against that ridge. Oh no, there he goes. That's why they call him Ono.
So move off that square back towards the. Yeah.
So can you guys see that circle?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so that circle, which I'm going to change the color of here momentarily because I hate this freaking olive drab cover because you can't see it at all. That's where the reeds sort of stop. As you guys sort of cluster around the bank, which is about 4 or 5 feet below the edge of the bridge. You guys cluster around the bank there, and you can see the reeds, which were moving against the current, have now stopped, and they're just sitting there in the water, sort of in the middle of the river.
Can we make an action yet, or?
Sure, if you want. I mean, if you want to do something.
Say, Bondrum, you might want to step back away from the bank.
I will, but I'm gonna ask, you guys think this is friend or foe?
No
I
idea.
don't know if there's any friend around here for us.
Yeah, I'm ready to make an action if they're assuming they're a foe. Anybody opposed to that?
No.
Polearm, give me a perception check when you get a moment. 26. So just to give you some flavor text, across the river is a bridge seeming composed of branches and vines surrounding what was once pale white stone. Several of these vines and branches plunge into the water beneath, forming supports. Off to the right side of the bridge sits a tall, narrow tower, only about 20 feet in diameter, or 10 feet in diameter, with a roof reaching up about 20 feet above the surface of the water and the main bridge. The tower and the bridge are both currently flame-free, but they are blackened as though from decades of soot. On the far side of the bridge, and this is what Polearm you see, lies a small village built in a wide clearing, its buildings only faintly visible through the forest's ashy haze. So there are buildings back on the other side of the river, back in this area here.
So traffic marks on the road, or does it seem like this place is pretty much abandoned?
There doesn't seem to be any traffic marks on the road. There's a lot of soot here that gets scattered about, and it's getting, kind of like ashes and things like that from the fire forest. So it's possible that any traffic marks might have been obliterated by the constantly raining ash that comes through here, but it doesn't look like, you don't see any obvious footprints or drag marks or anything like that over the bridge.
Bondrum's going to cast a cone of fire at the reeds.
At the reeds. Okay. Go ahead and do, I guess, an attack. Do you do an attack roll?
On a spell?
Probably just a cone. Probably just everything in the area gets it.
Yeah, it's an area of effect.
Yeah.
Is it like a fire breath spell?
No, it's I'm sorry, burning hands is what it's.
Oh, burning hands. Okay.
I
So-
apologize, and I'm going to use I can change it to be, well, I'm going to keep it fire actually. Never mind. I'm going to keep it at fire. So yeah.
Okay.
So I don't think I have to roll for that, do I?
Oh,
Cone of searing flames. Any creature in the area takes 1d4 damage, but you're aiming it at the reeds, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Is the distance all right?
I think I measured it properly.
15 feet. Yeah, you're pretty close. Okay. Yeah. All right. So yeah, there's a little clump of reeds there. They're spread out about, 4 or 5 feet away from each other. Your fire goes off over across the surface of the water, igniting anything it touches that's not water, including these reeds. And soon, like candles sticking out of the water, the reeds are burning. They continue to burn until pieces of them fall off and they're ashing, and eventually they burn down to the water line. It did look like maybe they retracted a little bit at time, but there was still maybe a foot of reed above the water, which burned down really quickly and eventually sort of burned itself out on the surface of the water. As you are watching, so there's just you wait about 10, 15 seconds after you burn these down to the water, and it takes maybe half a minute. You see edges of burnt reeds come back up above the water, about 3 or 4 inches, the tips of them still with the burnt edges from where they were before, but they come back above the water. And in addition to that, give me a perception check real quick.
Oh, I don't know if I've got that loaded.
Just Vondi or all of us that are paying attention?
All of you could, if Arendar, if you and Wraith are watching her do this,
oh,
then-
yeah.
okay. Okay, 24.
Yeah.
Vondram, no.
I wasn't watching. I had my eyes closed. Well, what?
Well, so you see the thing. You kind of looked away, and then you see the things pop up. Arendar, you and Wraith, and Titus, even from where he's standing, you see these reeds pop up, and they only pop up. They were maybe 1.5 feet above the surface of the water before, and they shrank down a little bit when the burning hands came. The tops burned off, and then after 10, 15 seconds, a stub of the reed comes above the water, and you can see where it's like the burnt edge of it. And then very quietly, you see water coming out of the top of the reed for just a few seconds, and then no more water.
Do it again.
It developed a contingency. Well, now I want to strike electricity and see how they deal with that.
That's funny.
I think I'm gonna wait.
So it's like something's under there using
Reeds as a
Reeds.
snorkel. Yeah.
as a snorkel. Is that?
I would
And
have
it-
thought when it caught, my thought was when it caught fire, you'd be breathing in like no oxygen while it's burning. I mean, I think it'd be hard to breathe out of a reed. That was my intent when it was on
After
fire.
that, I'm gonna tell Vondram, come back away from the edge there.
As you guys are talking about this, you can see the reeds again begin to move. And in this case, they're heading sort of towards the bridge, but around the tower. This tower extends downward into the water. So they seem to be going around the far side of the tower towards the bridge.
So can I step forward and fire an arrow?
Into the water?
Yes.
Sure.
You ever been bow fishing? It works just fine.
Okay.
At the
I have not
proper-
been bow fishing, but it sounds fun.
at the proper angle. So I'm going to pick this clump of reeds, and it's basically guesswork, but I'm just going to fire into that area at an angle that'll make the arrow actually go through the water a short distance.
Okay.
25.
25 to hit. Okay. So hold 1 second. So I need you
And
to-
actually, it is within 30 feet, so 26 to hit.
26 to hit. Okay. So I need you to do something for me.
Sure.
I want you to roll a 50-50 mischance for an unseen target.
Okay. So I'll go low on a D20.
Okay.
Nope.
Ooh. All right. Sploosh. The arrow goes in the water and you don't see where it lands. The water's kind of like gross and murky a little bit, so it's hard to see through.
If we see it heading towards Polearm, I'm gonna call over to Polearm. Hey, you've got something heading towards you. From
Yeah,
the-
no, I'm sitting there watching it like all you are.
Y'all,
Yeah, I got my giant sticker ready to strike if I see anything less that looks aggressive.
They keep going towards the bridge, and if I was on the right map layer, you would see that. Here we go. They keep going towards the bridge, these reeds, and it's just like 4 little stump reeds kind of moving through there, and it looks like they're heading under the bridge. And then the reeds go under the bridge, and far as you can tell, you can't see him anymore. It's hard to see. Oh no, Wraith, give me a perception check.
Sure.
Yeah, I'm going to move up here to this farther up the shore.
Yep, I see where you're going.
Well,
27?
wouldn't people with dark vision be able to see under the bridge?
No, it's not dark. It's just obscured.
Sure, yeah.
So 27, you can sort of see, you think, under the bridge, because it's pretty dark under the bridge,
Yeah.
but not dark vision dark. Under the bridge, you think you see the stumps of the reeds still sticking out of the water, but it's hard to tell. There's a lot of shadows under there. It's sort of, there's still a lot of smoke in the air and things like that. So it's just hard to tell. But what you don't see is a bunch of reeds coming out from under the bridge out into this area of the river.
Right.
Looks like maybe they've gotten under there and are staying under there, whatever it is.
So do we want to try to smoke them out, or do we just want to move on? This is just sort of general question to the group.
At
I
this
don't have
point, I
enough
feel like
spell
we've
to
invested
listen.
so much time. We should smoke them out.
Do I think Poe's spear would reach from, like, if he's down on the bridge where I'm at, could he bend around and kind of,
Poke in the water?
yeah.
Yeah.
It's not a long spear, right?
I don't think it's 10 feet. Is it 8 feet, something like that?
I could make it 15 if I enlarge myself, which I can do.
Oh, that's
Um,
true.
I'll call Poe up where I'm at and say, hey, do you want to come try and, I'm not trying to kill anything yet because I don't know who or what this is, but at least.
Yeah,
let's-
can I
let's
just
come out.
go like here, Les?
Uh-huh. And just try and like jam it underneath the edge of the bridge there?
I guess I'll do like a pushing motion, yeah.
Okay.
See if I
Just-
hit anything.
Put it in the water and kind of push it towards the reeds. Go ahead. See, do an attack roll.
Okay, do it. I'm not gonna do the enlarged thing yet. I'm just gonna try
Right.
where I'm at. So, second, I got all these things set up. I gotta find where they're at though. There we go.
Oh, yeah, you don't seem to hit anything. You feel like you're in the area, but yeah, it doesn't seem to be hitting anything.
Then do it again.
Yeah, kind of like poke around back there.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
That's a little better.
Go ahead and give me a 50-50. Wraith, give me another perception check.
I was gonna say, do I see the reeds moving in response?
You do. They seem to be moving under the bridge towards the northern bank, away from Poe. So what did you say?
I missed.
You missed. Okay. So yeah, you don't think you hit anything. You did see the raids. Now they've sort of stopped about midway underneath the bridge and seem to be hovering there. Hold that thought for a minute. I'll be right back.
So if these little hobbit things, I'm all for murdering them in the water where they're at.
Sure.
These could be elves, and this is just how they've adjusted to getting around here.
It does not seem like elven behavior. I don't know.
No, it doesn't.
They're not. Seems. I mean, they're pretty stupid to be. Once they know that they've been caught, you'd think they would like disappear, but they just keep doing what they're doing. So they're probably the hobgoblins or halflings.
The halflings. Yeah, those crazy little Peters. Those things all deserve to die. At least all the ones here.
And I would say at this point, if Bondi, if you have the ability to hit the area that they're at, and I can point them out to you if need be, with electricity in the water,
Yeah.
that would probably be an effective way to damage them / make
And get them to
them
jump out of the
change their
water.
mind as to staying in the water. Yeah.
I can charge my spear. I just didn't know if I could use it if I don't hit something, and I can't. I guess you can enlarge me and my spear. But I have no more spells really. My spell list is shot.
Ah, okay.
But I can use my spear, which can be charged with electricity.
Well, I think if you're hitting the water right above them, you're trying to hit the water itself, because you're just trying to dissipate that and shock everything around it.
Yeah, I don't know if that'll work like that. I don't know. I mean, if you have to hit for the spell to trigger for the.
That's gonna be a DM call.
Mhm.
Yeah. That's what I was going to do originally, and then I thought I'd try the burning hands. I thought for sure nobody could breathe when their tube was on fire, but apparently these guys can't. I know that I can barely snorkel and like get a drop of water in there.
I'm going to try to hit the reeds.
Well, one drop of water when you're snorkeling and your whole day is ruined.
I'm going to try to hit the reeds and knock them out, because you don't have to do the 50-50 miss with that.
Because you can see those, yeah.
Yeah.
I'll do that first. If that doesn't work, I'll try and.
All right.
And I'll continue trying arrows but basically I'm firing blind in the water. As long as you fire at an appropriate angle, the arrow goes in and does damage. Like I said, that's how you bowfish. And it'll actually go through a couple feet of water before it loses enough velocity to not be damaging anymore.
Right. Which he said this is shallow, so you're not going to do any more than that.
Right. So it's just a matter of if I had rolled better on the 50-50, same with Gordon, we would have hit something.
Do we know what these 40 voices are? Did we think to ask that?
No. And I don't think he's going to give us any more answer than just 40 tongues.
40
Yeah.
tongues.
All of his answers were quite cryptic, so I think that's probably the best we're going to get.
40 tongues. 40 tongues of a flame?
40 tongues of singing that keep him imprisoned. Words or speech or song.
You know what? It might be flame. I don't know. It could be 40 people.
Yeah.
You know.
Could be a 40-tongued creature.
Yeah, I didn't even think about the tongue of flame, but yeah.
All right, sorry about that.
We've already
yes.
killed them.
You already killed them. So yeah, the reeds seem to have stopped about midway through the under the bridge, about midway between each end. Your guess is that whatever's going on there, they're trying to stay out of the way of Polearm's pointy stick.
Right. And since I saw them move, I'm going to go ahead and sort of blindly fire another arrow
Okay.
at an angle to get some penetration into the water.
Okay. 28 to
29.
hit. All right. 29. That is would likely be a hit, but I do need the
Yeah.
50-50.
Low on a 20. That hits.
Ooh, that is a hit. So a couple of things happen. Your arrow slices into the surface of the water and shoots below the water to the point where it's obscured. You can't see it. You do see one of the reeds begin to jerk violently back and forth. At that point, you see blood begin to roil up in the water. And one of the reeds begins to move forward. You did how many points of damage?
10 points.
10 points. That reed that started jiggling and joggling, the other reeds seem to be staying the same, or maybe even retreating a bit towards the backwards towards the tower. But one begins to come forward out here, and then pretty soon you see the reed just go shooting out of the thing, where there's maybe 3 feet of reed goes shooting out of the thing, and up onto the top of the surface, you see this guy come up, pulls the arrow out, looks at you, and he's like, "I've had it. You are going to die." And he begins swimming across to you. It's another one of those hobbits, those crazy hobbits.
All right. All right. I'm gonna run. I'm sorry.
I
It's
think
not-
it's time. I think
Now
we
it's
need to
initiative?
roll for a niche. Yeah, this is trouble, man.
All right.
No.
Initiative. Is that just a dex roll? Oh, here it is. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Initiative.
And if you click on your icon before you roll it, it'll put it in
Oh,
there.
I forgot to do
You
that.
did. It's in
Um,
there.
It's there.
Yeah.
Hot damn. Hot damn.
25.
Look at you.
Fast moving little monk.
Did I miss anybody? Is anybody not on there? I see Titus. I see Vondra. I see Arendar.
My gosh.
Everybody got on the board.
Wow.
Crazy.
Look at us go.
I'll tell you what. That's bonus experience points for everybody.
So,
And the lowest initiative is 15.
so yeah,
we
Poe
rock.
is our lowest. So you'd think a 15 would actually have you pretty good on the initiative thing, not dead last.
What I'm astounded is how is Vondrum that so fast? Wow.
I invested some of my,
Improved initiative, or you can actually
yeah,
get
I invested in it.
Yep.
Wow, that's great.
or there's a not a full feat, but a trait that allows you to get a +2.
Gotcha.
Nice. All right. Well, as we go into initiative, Vondram, you're first. You see this this hobbit who's just surfaced. He's bleeding a little bit in the water. He's spitting curses and swearing a blue streak, spitting water up as he swims, kind of like, you know how hobbit swims, kind of like over towards Wraith. And as you can see, Wraith just sort of like going, you know, and drawing back another arrow. But that hobbit is mad as a hornet, and he's coming your way.
Yeah. Keep dog paddling, buddy.
Okay.
The hobbit will make the edge next round.
Yeah. But the hobbit goes last.
Yeah.
Okay. So he's heading right here. Damn, you're too close, Ray.
Sorry, Vondi.
That's okay. If I put the old dancing lights, doesn't that distract them and cause them to have negatives on their attacks and whatnot?
Well, they're not dogs. I mean,
Dancing lights around their head.
it's possible. I mean, it's not. Yeah, it's not like cranking aluminum foil at a dog and they just go. What the?
No. I just thought that I just remember that as an old trick when you get down to tiny little spells that you have left. Just enough to distract them and give them negatives, or is that?
I don't think dancing lights does that
Yeah,
anymore.
you can only have one dancing lights if you cast a spell while casting another. Yeah, depending on the version, you create up to 4 lights that resemble lanterns or torches, or up to 4 glowing spheres, or 1 faintly glowing, vaguely humanoid shape. That's fun. Dancing lights must stay within a 10-foot radius in relationship, but otherwise move as you desire, forward, back, up, or down. The lights can move up to 100 feet around. They wink out if the distance exceeds the spell's range, which is 100 feet per one per level. It doesn't say anything about confusing anybody.
Okay, and you're already enlarged, is that right, Poe?
He's not right now,
But you can be at will or whatever.
which seems patently unfair.
Yeah, for short periods of time. That's one of my abilities.
Yeah,
But
okay,
I've got
I'm
the spells
gonna-
too.
I'm
Heather,
gonna,
Do you have any
Enlarge.
offensive 0-level spells like acid splash or something like that?
I do, but I think if I enlarge Ono, that might be of better use.
Okay.
So I think I'm gonna do that.
Right.
He's much fun to, he's.
All right, so what are you doing?
I'm enlarging Ono.
Do you have to touch him? Or is it-
35 foot. Let's
Is it
see.
range? It's rangeable.
Let's see, it's got, 35 foot.
Okay.
That's a gain of +2 strength, -2 dex, and -1 AC.
Okay.
+2 strength, -2 dex, -1 AC.
-2 dex. Okay. My dex is my fort. But okay.
I
Reflex.
mean, you don't have to take it. You can reject it. Taken it in the past is why I did it.
I will try it out. Let's see if I can go stomp on a murder hobbit.
Okay. Perfect. Oh no, it's your turn. But before you take your turn, I'm gonna need a reflex save
Sure.
because in your enlarged state,
Uh-oh.
that yellow area is the area that is
Oh.
kind of broken. And as you can see, you are all over it. So I'm going to need a reflex save as that railing breaks away and pieces of the bridge fall off.
boy. Uh-oh.
Oh, that is not enough. It's a DC 15.
Okay.
And so you fall into the water. Sploosh.
Great. Oh
You
no.
gave fair warning. That's all me. My
So
bad.
drop an elbow on the murder hobbit on your.
Yeah.
Well,
way in.
yeah. So I think that he has to make a saving throw. Otherwise, you essentially cannonball on top of the hobbit. So let me see what his reflex is. It's pretty good. So let's just go ahead. It's going to be, I think, a DC 15 for him to get out of the way. He does. Basically, scooches out of the way and gets splashed as Ono falls into the water.
Okay. Can I
How deep is the water?
It's not very deep. You could actually stand up in it, but it does count as difficult terrain. It's about 5-6 feet deep.
Okay.
Not even. No, it's about 4 feet deep, really.
Well, as long as I'm down there, can I try to hit the murder hobbit?
You're gonna try and as you kind of spin around as you're falling off, and you're like gonna suplex the guy. Okay.
I'm gonna
Yeah,
try it.
absolutely. Just one attack though. I think you're
Yes,
busy,
sir.
kind of like getting moistened.
Drop the people's elbow.
All right, here we go. I roll a
25 to hit. So Odo gets enlarged. Of course, he's now 4 times as heavy as he was a moment ago. This is more than enough for the bridge to collapse. He goes a couple of this, does backward, does a full spin around, and comes down on top of the thing. The hobbit is like, holy shit, jumps out of the way, but it's not enough to avoid the enlarged monk's elbow, which cracks the hobbit right in the shoulder for, I'm looking at 9 damage here.
Yes, sir.
Dang. He goes under the water briefly,
Mm,
comes back up like a cork,
mhm.
Yelling, spitting and yelling and just saying, God, what is wrong with these people? I'm killing you all of you. He's splashing about. He's still trying to get over there. I don't think you can hit him again because you were too busy falling in the water. You're still now trying to get your feet and that kind of thing, but just the once. But this guy is very angry and not at all uninjured.
Okay, well, more where that came from.
Wraith, you're up.
All right, so he's above the water. I can see him. Everything's cool, right?
Yeah, he's still trying to make for the shore at this point.
All right, so I'm gonna rapid shot.
Okay.
So 25 to hit plus
That's
a
a hit.
potential crit.
Ooh, okay. So roll to confirm the crit.
28 to hit.
That is a confirmed critical. I don't think it's going to be
Yeah. 9 points from the first arrow.
and that would be enough to kill him.
Yeah. And
So
I would as an archer take the triple damage, so it'd be 31 points for the second arrow.
31 points per second. So the first arrow takes him high in the chest, and you see him sort of squabbling in the water as more blood is pouring into the water. And then the second arrow gets him right in the forehead, right through, comes out the back. You see his eyes sort of like, get the shocked look on his face, and he falls backwards into the water. Arendar, what do you do?
I clap.
Golf clap. Very well done. Very well done.
Very well done. All right. Anything else?
I don't see another target, so I'm just kind of.
Search him.
They're under the bridge though.
He's floating. This guy's floating in the river, and he's floating slowly downriver, so away from you guys. He's floating
Southwest.
to the southwest. Yeah.
So do I get a free action to speak?
Absolutely, you can speak.
I'm going to holler over to Arendar. 1 for me, 0 for you.
All right.
Titus,
what about
half?
It only counts as half. It only counts as half. Titus, what do you do? So you're standing there next to Vondrum. Everybody's kind of there. These hoblets are kind of wandering about. You're not entirely sure what's going on. Give me a quick perception check before you answer that question, though.
Okay.
And by the way, Ono, falling into the river caused a small wave to kind of go downriver, which overtopped some of the things, and so some of the reeds that were moving away. 23. You see a couple of those reeds coming close to the shore here, and they get overtopped by Ono's splash, and then you see of the water coming out of the reeds as they come out. And then you begin to see a couple of hobbits coming out of the water. They're not targetable yet that you can see unless you've got a cool idea. But it looks like there's some creatures coming, or you start to see them under the surface of the water kind of coming up.
Well, I shout to everyone, hey, there's some coming up over here. Come and get them. And in terms of what I want to do, I am going to cast a ghost sound in that vicinity that's going to sound like a very, very large, angry, and well-armed army.
An army? like marching and stuff like that?
Or they're readying. They're taking, basically, because they can't hear the words, they can hear sound. So basically, it's just going to sound like a large, well-armed army. Basically, before they pop their heads up, they should be able to hear, oh my goodness, they've amassed a large army.
Okay, so according to the spell, you can produce as much noise as 4 normal humans per caster level. You're 4th level, right?
Yeah.
So you basically make the noise of 16 people, essentially like prepare to fire, present arms, that kind of thing.
Right.
Okay. All right. That's cool. So,
That's awesome.
It's pretty good. Let me try something here. All right. So, okay. So as you do that, Vondrum and Wraith, everybody probably hears this. I mean, it's the sound of like 16 people. All of you sort of hear this noise of, draw your weapons, present arms, prepare to fire, and you're like, the fuck is going on? You don't see anybody. Titus, you see a couple of things. First, one of the reeds stops and sort of stands still. The
so
other
we can hear sphincters like.
Well, you got to figure that these hobbits are, with their underwater capabilities, you got to assume that their sphincters are watertight as it is. Otherwise, they'd be flooding, and sinking to the bottom.
No, you still probably hear the clench.
The clench is like an underwater thunderclap. There's like a little tidal wave that comes up, like a tsunami. It's an ass-nami. The other one, Titus, so one of the reeds stops and stays perfectly still. The other one stops and begins moving downriver. So there's another one that's sort of like trucking downriver, and it's down like about here. It looks like it might be trying to escape. The other one is sort of about here and is just staying there. It's not coming up yet.
So the one that's moving downriver, is there a trail of yellow water following that?
You can't tell. There does seem to be a little bit of extra steam in the water. You're not, it could be anything though. All right, Titus, do you want to move or anything like that? Excellent use of spell, by the way. I have to applaud you there. That was a good use of that spell.
Did one come up, Wes? One did not come up though.
Neither of them came up. Well, it's not their turn, so they really can't come out yet. But
Got it.
one stopped moving, the other one started moving, stopped, and then started moving downriver pretty quickly.
Let's see. I'm gonna move just close enough to the river's edge, so if I have to use burning hands or burning jock itch, I'll be right there.
Ooh, burning jock itch, that's a tough one. I've had that before back in college. Okay, awesome. Titus, that's you. Polearm, what do you do?
So are there any left underneath the bridge or that I can reach, or are they all gone
You
now?
can't see any underneath the bridge anymore. They seem to have disappeared. Give me a perception check. 13. Yeah, you don't see any of the reeds anymore.
So they all went basically away back the other way, the way they came. So-
Well, yeah, I mean, they exited downstream from under the bridge. You would have seen that, but beyond that, you don't know.
I guess I'll do a move. 20, 30. I'm going to do a double move to there.
All right, avoiding, I'm assuming, the now broken area of the bridge.
Yeah, it's pretty obvious now, right?
Yeah, it's very obvious. Okay.
At least you're getting a nice soak, Ono. I mean, the water's warm and steamy, and don't know when you had a bath last, so some perks.
All right. Titus, you're watching the other reed, and it continues downstream, away from here. But at the same time, you hear a splashing noise as you're watching, and one comes popping up out of here, gets on here, and goes at Polearm with a small axe that it's trying to hit him with. As it reaches out and tries to hit him. These guys are pretty good with their little axes. 21 hit you?
Yep.
Okay, so little axe from Crazy Dude. It's 1d6 plus 3. 6 points of damage as he hits, slacks at you with this little axe, screaming obscenities, spitting water, and dripping all over the place. Arendar, you're watching the show over there, but you fail to realize that there was one right here because you were busy yelling at your brother. This one comes up and comes yelling around. You see him as he comes, but he also has an axe and uses it to attack.
I regret nothing.
17 hit you?
No.
Okay.
Hey, what happened to my little method?
I just kind of put my hand on his forehead.
It's got to be around here. Didn't he take off when Indomitable showed up?
Yeah.
He hasn't shown back up. He might later.
Arendar
Right.
got his hand on the, he's laying hands
Yeah, on
on
the
it.
halfway, I got my hand on his forehead, just kind of keeping him from hitting me. Hey, you wait. I'm making fun of my brother. You wait
Just
for
a
your
minute. I'll deal with you in a minute. I'm with people.
turn.
All right, Vondrum, top of the order, second round. Vondrum, where are you? You're at the base of the bridge. You kind of come over there to the edge. So you're standing on the edge of the bridge. You're about 3 feet off the ground. You see this guy rearing back to hit Poe with another axe strike.
And here's an acid splash. Yeah.
Ooh, acid splash tends to miss. It hits Poe in the knee and begins burning his kneecap off.
No, what didn't fumble. Next.
All right. Oh no. So you are under here. There's probably just enough room under this bridge if you wanted to sort of dive through and go under. You can see sort of hunkering down. You can see this creature attacking Poe. If you're standing up, you can see this other one attacking Arendar.
What do I see in the water? Are there more mysterious swimming reeds?
Not as far as you can tell. Well, give me a perception check. Probably not as far as you can see. The reeds were obviously like, well, in the 23, you probably see one more reed moving pretty swiftly downstream away from you guys.
All right.
So it's pretty far down here. I mean, you could go after it, but The water, if you try and, so here's the thing, the water's not very deep, certainly not for an enlarged person, but it still has mass, right? So if you, I mean, we've all been in the pool and tried to walk through the water. You cannot move very fast. Swimming, if you wanted to swim, if you have a swim skill, you might be able to swim and catch up with him, potentially, if that's what you want to do.
I do have a swim skill.
Okay.
But wait, hold on. I'm Ono's normal height is 5'8". What height am I now?
Is it double the height of the creature?
Yes, you're 11.
11 feet.
Okay,
11 foot something.
Can
11
I
foot more?
jump up on the bridge and jump
You already
on top?
destroyed half the bridge.
Okay, well, can I jump on top of the bridge that is left there and hop on top of the hobbit that is attacking my colleague and comrade Arendar?
So yeah, the bridge is not very high. If you're 11 feet, the bridge is probably around mid-thigh to you. So you could just sort of scramble up at this point because the bridge, it's an arch, right? So at where you're standing, or like where Vondrum's standing, it's not very high up. It's only towards the middle here that the bridge reaches its total height, which is not very high up above the river, maybe 4 or 5 feet above the river. So you're in a place that's maybe 3 feet above the river. You're standing in the river. So you could probably just sort of clamber up onto the bridge as if it were difficult terrain.
Can I clamber up and can I do some sort of flip and flip over and attack the murder hobbit that's attacking Arendar?
So you want to leap off the bridge onto the hobbit, or you're
Yes.
going to do like a flying boot to the head?
Flying boot to the head, please.
All right, well, you can do that
Who's
from
going
the,
after?
I think he's going after this one.
No, here.
Oh, you're going to run down there and kick Arendar's?
Yes.
Well, you can,
You'd have to-
so,
You'd have to
the
end up
diff-
past me before you could do that, because there's not.
well, he's enlarged, which means he has a 10-foot reach.
And the other thing, actually, I probably wouldn't see you coming because
Nobody ever does.
that's dangerous right there. And you're 10 feet wide now.
Oh, yeah, that's right. You don't know how close you can get to the glyph.
I mean, okay, it's just that I see 2 murder hobbits, and I see 1 murder hobbit attacking 3 of my friends. I assume my 3 valiant friends can take on this hobbit, but Arendar is facing this murder hobbit alone, so I wish to help him.
There you go. Everybody knows that Arendar is weak and,
Right.
can't really, doesn't really have any skills.
I'm just trying to help here, I'm
And that at any minute, he might decide to go on a jog and just
It
leave
happens.
combat altogether.
It happens.
That's true. It does.
When you
It does
gotta go, you
occasionally.
gotta go.
All right. So Ono, you're going to run down there. I'm assuming you're going to come to about here and then sort of kick or punch past Arendar at the Hobbit. I'm assuming kick. All right. So you have to stay away from the thing, which means as you pass, you're awfully close to that glyph, buddy. You're going to set it off, I think. So the glyph goes off.
Really?
Yeah, you're too close. You're too big.
All right.
So you get to here, you will get your attack, but the glyph goes off,
Mhm.
kaboom. It radiates. You see the glyph sort of light up with this white,
Really?
a sort of frosty kind of thing, and then all of a sudden it's just like, whoop, and suddenly the temperature around you gets really cold. I need a reflex save.
Here's Vondrum.
You could have had a V8.
You could have.
I could have shot an acid dart on my.
23 made it. So reflex for half. It does 12 points of cold damage. So you take 6 points of cold damage
I do.
as you run through there. You sure do. Then you,
Jeez.
but you get to where you're going and you can make your attack.
All right, great. I'm going to punch that guy right there. So I'm cluing in to what's going on here. All right, got it. All right, I'm going to punch that guy with a 11.
11's gonna miss, yeah, because the cold sort of set off it sort of like discombobulated. You're like, whoa, and then it's sort of you were going your stride, you're getting ready, you were gonna give this guy a real nice punt, and it just missed. He dodged out of the way at the last second.
I should have taken the hint.
Do you get 2 attacks or no?
Moving.
Not if you're moving. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you crawled on the bridge, ran past, got blasted, and then threw a boot at this guy, but missed. So that is going to finish off your turn. Wraith, you're up.
I'm going to take 2 shots with rapid shot at this guy here, since I'm not
Okay.
moving.
You got precise?
Yes.
So where you are there, well, I guess he's small and there is a little bit of bridge there. So he will get, I'm going to say -2 cover, partial cover. Ooh, but I don't
Potential
think it's
crit.
going to matter.
16, which would drop down to
14?
17, because he's within 30 feet.
17 is a miss.
It would drop. Okay. So the
This-
first one is a potential crit.
Yep, let's
I'll
see.
redo rapid shot. 20.
20 will confirm the crit. You want the chart or you want
No.
the dam?
I want damage. So
All right.
that's 6 times 3, which is 18 plus 1, which is 19.
19. Arrow takes him high in the side, starts wheezing. He's hurt bad. And kind of like, he's got the axe over his head, but you managed to stick that arrow right in his, like, sort of his rib cage. And he's like, as that thing pierces and punctures a lung. He's still fighting, but he's hurt and blood's pouring through the side of his sort of homespun demon hobbit garb. Any movement on your part?
No.
Arendar. Ono came out of nowhere, tried to kick this
Yeah.
guy, missed him, set off some sort of, you heard like a popping or a crackling
I
sound.
probably got like one of those feelings like when you walk by in the summer, like someone opens the door to a store right next to you.
Mhm, yeah, it's
That feels
cold.
pretty good.
Woo, that's chilly. I'm not used. Eric's not used to giant size. Ono's not used to being this big.
Ono is 5'8". Eric is 5'6". I'm used to being short, so
Okay,
Full in a china shop. Imagine, Eric, if you were 12 feet tall. Think of the damage you would do.
this little guy gets an attack of opportunity.
All right, he's going to take that with his little
Circle behind
axe.
him.
And he's going to miss it.
Yep. So this is going to be at +2.
Okay. Flankaroo.
Yep.
10 is going to
Wow.
miss.
12. That's a miss.
Yeah, that is a miss. All right, Titus, on the heels of chasing off one of these creatures with the thing, what is your next trick?
I think I'm going to. Let's see.
There is just a verm.
Yeah.
Softball lobbed up.
Yeah.
3 of you. One of you's got to take it.
All right. I guess I'll got to do a verm with the magic missile.
Oh, it's a classic
That is a
verm.
perfect verm.
It's the perfect verm.
That
It's
is a perfect verm.
classic old school verm.
So let
Do
me-
the damage.
All
Only thing
right.
better is if we've been fighting the creature and the same guy's been attacking it for 5 rounds. And then
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, 7 points. He had 5 left. That is a verm
Yes.
in the classic sense. Andrew gets a verm. So, Andrew, have you had any verms before? You have, haven't you?
A long time ago.
All right. Well, you know the rules. $5 to St. Jude, my man. And you get on the big board.
I'm a big boy now.
You're a big boy now. All right. That's not. You going to move or anything in the wake of that verm?
are we donating all this on top of the burning sky or the late night players or?
It's everybody. So,
I know, but are they seeing donations come in on behalf of, Tom and the late night players or anything?
I think it's just in memory of Tom Goulding is what I've been doing mine as. So
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what other people are.
Mine have all been in memory of Tom.
So they gotta be wondering why, like, people just randomly are
Randomly,
donating
yeah.
$5.
$5, sure.
I think it's awesome.
What is today? 10, 11? Is it the 11th?
10th.
And
The
It's-
10th.
it's the 10th? Okay.
10-10. And that was
10.
the perfect verm. Magic missile.
It was a
to do the
perfect
job.
verm.
Awesome.
So Andrew, this is your first Verm in the new season.
Yeah.
So good for you. Welcome to the big board. Just to let everybody know, we are now up to $175 that we sent to St. Jude this year. So that's really good. All right. Well done, Titus. You going to move?
So let's see. Can I see anything else? Do I take a perception check to see if there are any other reads or?
Give me a perception.
Okay. So I think that will help determine where and if.
Didn't we know there were 4 originally? Didn't we count them, or you told us there were 4?
I don't remember what the number was. I pointed out that there were some reeds moving offshore where I am. I don't.
About 4 feet apart.
So did I set you up, Chuck?
Yep.
22 on the perception. Yeah. So from where you are, you definitely know that there's some shit going on over there, even though you can't see it directly because of Ono's in the way. You definitely can hear the sounds of combat and one of those little hobbits doing his yeah kind of stuff on the other side of the bridge. You also can still see the reed. Now it's pretty far downstream at this point, but that reed is continuing to move away as it goes. And as it gets further and further away, you see a head come up, the reed gets flown away, and you see what looks to be a hobbit swimming along the river down along with the current down southwest. It's moving pretty quickly. It will definitely be out of range of most stuff in a round or two. Unless you want to give chase, you could go in and swim.
I'm not into water sports. I'll hold where I am for now.
Okay. Hold on, I'm tweeting. Hold on a second. I'm just not that into water sports.
Water sports.
Okay, got it. It's captured. It's in there. All right. So that's Titus Polearm. You are up next.
All right, where's the reed that's moving?
It's pretty far down. It's about here or so, but it's moving, and it's not just a reed anymore. It's an actual person swimming. And
I couldn't see that. Do that again. Okay.
Sorry. So it's an actual person swimming about there. They've given up on the reed stuff and they are moving southward pretty quickly, actually.
Okay, so I can reach them.
Little farts can swim.
And 20. So I can move to there.
Okay. Oh, you're gonna just run over there and just like boom.
Yeah, I can get an attack since that was only one movement. So.
All right, let's see what happens.
Hobbit gigging.
Yeah.
A 12 is not gonna hit.
Any bonus for being in the water? I don't know.
So you certainly don't get a bonus for it being in the water.
Does the Hobbit lose his dex?
You said it was difficult terrain.
Well, kind
Maybe not for
of.
hobbits?
He's swimming. Even without his dex, it's still a miss.
I tried.
That was a good try.
It was a good try.
Yeah,
I'm gonna be
solid
I'm
effort.
gonna do a perception too, just to make sure I'm not missing anything in the woods next to me. Is
Okay.
there anything in the general
27
area?
in there? No, you don't see any creatures in there or anything like that.
Okay.
All right, their turn. This one is going to Skadulio. And so let's take a look at the swim checks here, just to make sure that we are abiding by all the rules and no one can say that I act arbitrarily on behalf of my guys. So they do have swim skill. +5. Holy shit. Okay, so he's going to do a swim check.
That is going to be an attack of opportunity.
Is it though?
Yep, I got reach. Yep.
That's true. All right, so he makes his swim check. So he is going to proceed out of there and move down river. Their speed is 40. So he's going to move 20. 1, 2, 3.
Swimming speed is 40.
4, 5,
Oh.
6, 7,
Running
8.
speed 20.
Running speed is 40. You can move, if you make your swim check, you can move half your movement rate. So he's moving 20. He does provoke, so go ahead and do that.
And
Nope, missed him. They are slick little farts, aren't they? This one, what is he gonna do? I don't know. It feels like he should do something ugly. He's gonna take a 5-foot step over to here to confound your flanking, and he's gonna crack you with his axe. or not in this case. He is not going to crack it with X. So that's what they do. And that is the end of round 2. Round 3, Vondram.
I got nothing defensive to offer. I've already done blown Erica. Messed with him. So I think I'm actually going to defer.
Deferring. Okay, that's cool. That's cool. We'll put you at the bottom of the order for right now. Oh no.
Yes, sir. Okay. Well, apparently I'm on the bridge of death.
Well, no. Well, I mean, well, yeah. I mean, you fell off one side and set off a glyph on the other. So, I mean,
God damn it! Yeah, all
I
right.
didn't know you were the rogue of the party.
You didn't even know you were getting large. So basically, you're just standing there. All of a sudden, you get large 4 times, and you fall off the bridge. At least you're able to kill the guy you were after. No, it's kind of a mess. I'm sorry.
All good, all good. You know what? I'm used to a compact frame, but all right. So I am gonna I guess I'm gonna take one step forward and punch that guy.
Okay.
Can I?
Yep, absolutely.
And since I moved, I guess I get just one.
Well, I think you can reach him with a 5-foot step. So yeah, I would go back to here.
Yes, sir.
And now you can do your full attack.
All right, great. Then that's what I will. That is what I will do. I'm gonna go crane style strike and kaboom. 17.
17 is a miss, just barely, but a miss.
Really?
AC 18.
Is this guy wearing?
He's a ninja.
They got leather armor. They got pretty high decks. And they're just small. And they're tiny pains in the asses. Remember what happened to you guys with the halfling staff slings? These guys were kabonking you guys from 40 feet away.
Yeah, well, I say, why you little, and I will crane style strike him again with a 24.
24 is a hit.
I do 3.
3 damage. All right, so you
Take
do
that.
catch him with the toe of your boot and give him a little chin music, but that he's like, oh, now he's angry with you, and he's like, well, this guy can't hit me. It's Arendar guy. Now I got to pay attention to this giant bald dude who's kicking my ass. So he switches targets. Wraith, you now have a very clear shot at this guy if you want to take it.
Yeah, and I'm going to hold my action to 20.05.
Okay,
So I will go just after Arendar.
got it. Done. Arendar.
5-foot step. And then
26 will hit. Now he switched targets back to you. No confirmation. 12 points of damage.
yep.
All right. Hit him hard. Whoops. You hit him pretty hard. That Falcata is no joke. As he had turned around and was bringing his axe onto Ono to go after him, and then you came up from behind him and just cracked him across the shoulder blades with the Falcata, and it's like, ah! You know, he yells out as the blood begins to flow.
I yell at him, respect the Falcata.
Respect the Falcata. Wraith.
I'm going to rapid shot,
Okay.
25 to hit,
That'll hit.
22 to hit.
Also a hit. So
So
2 hits. How much damage? He's got 13 points left. You gonna kill him?
13 points of damage.
No.
Exactly.
Is that for real?
Yeah, I don't get the +1 because I'm not within 30 feet. So I also don't get sneak attack. It's 7 and 6, 13 points of damage.
13 points even. Boom,
So
boom.
he's-
2
he's
arrows go
stable.
down and he folds there at the base of the bridge.
That means
2
he's
for me,
stable. He's not.
none for you.
Oh, you didn't kill this one. He's only at 0. He's not dead yet.
That's true. He's not dead yet. If you guys want to revive him.
Not revive him, but wouldn't mind questioning him.
So he
What are they
is.
going to answer? They're murder hobbits. They're crazy.
I just don't want to know if they were coming after us specifically or if they were going somewhere else and we just happened to be here.
I just think they ambush whatever they can ambush, but you're welcome to talk to them.
All right. Wraith is, you going to move at all?
Well,
Or you
once he's down, I'm gonna come over here and
Okay.
basically with everyone else, I assume, cross the bridge to get into this elven town.
Actually, now we can check out the, our second rogue took care of the other trap.
Oh, well, in that case, I'll move to,
Our second rogue.
I guess, here and
Ooh, we lost Eric. His power went out.
do my perception check for traps.
Was he in store?
I don't know. He just said, I just got a text from him that said, I didn't even notice that he disappeared off
It was
the,
still
off the
for a
thing.
while. His video was still for a
He
while.
said the power went out. That's all. It's all his text said.
Great.
You guys want me to send him a message back?
Yeah, ask him how he wants us to move it.
All right.
So 32 to detect traps.
Andrew says your character is dead.
Don't
No,
worry
I said
about
he
it.
has no character.
Hold on a second. Oh, my stupid phone isn't being an idiot.
That's different, you know.
You know, I don't ask much. All I ask is that my technology perform flawlessly every time I ask it to. So is that so much?
No, not at all.
Only we could get rid of the human element.
You know, I think
It's
I'd
gonna happen.
resemble that comment. I define the human element of computer operation.
Okay. I typed to him, jump on when you can. All right. All right. So Titus, well, it's your turn. But there doesn't seem to be much in the way of targets. There's one more swimming away. Have you got anything that can do anything to it? Can you reach it? Can you reach out and touch it?
First, a break from our sponsor. What is Tom's last name?
Goulding, Goulding.
Okay. I'm not sure. Let me see here. I don't know that I've really got anything I can reach him with other than a magic missile, and that won't do much. Oh, sleep.
Oh, what's the range on the sleep spell?
140 feet.
Probably.
No kidding.
Or as it's now known, drown.
Yeah, exactly.
Magical slumber, 140 feet will negate. Okay, so you're gonna cast sleep on this guy?
Sure.
All right, what is the what's the
16.
DC? 16. Holy shit. All right, what's their will bonus? +5. So it's not a walk in the park. Let's see what happens. Here comes the roll. This could mean everything. Oh, all right. So sleep spell, you see polearm as you're sort of looking over there. You've got your spear in your hand and you're like, sort of high off and then looking down the river as this thing's swimming away. You see suddenly it begins to move almost in slow motion as it's paddling. And then it sort of just rolls over and sinks below the waves.
Wow. Well played.
And it doesn't return to the surface. And with that, we fall out of initiative.
That's a really bad dream.
That is a really bad dream. When you fall asleep when you're swimming away trying to escape from people, fall asleep in the ocean.
Doesn't that happen in Bugs Bunny?
Best use of that spell I've ever seen, definitely.
Yeah, really.
That hobbit's name is probably Lucky. So all right, so we drop out of the thing. Wraith, you are approaching the tower.
They're gone, Les.
I'm sorry?
Mike and Chuck are both stepped away for a minute. You might want to hang on.
All right, fine. That's how they
Before you
feel
play
about
your
it.
text. Get yourself a drink. Drain the vein.
It's Sunday, so it's one of my non-alcohol days.
What's that?
I know. Well, this thing. What am I drinking?
No,
Gatorade.
what's a non-alcohol day?
Well, I've found there was a period that I found myself drinking 4 to 5 nights a week, with all the work from home and kind of stuff like that. And I realized that I'm going through a bottle, maybe a bottle and a half of whiskey a week. And I'm like, that's a lot. That's a lot of bourbon to go through in 1 week. So I kind of throttle it back and I made myself a little deal that I would not drink on school nights. So Friday and Saturday night, those are my drinking nights.
Weekend warrior.
Tomorrow's a
And thir-
bank holiday.
And Thursdays, every other Thursday, I also will drink, but only beer, because every other Thursday I have a Zoom meeting with some friends of mine from high school. That I get together for a couple hours on Thursday nights, and we shoot the shit and talk about all how cool things used to be, including ourselves, which we are not cool anymore.
And probably weren't back then, but it's okay.
Oh, we were friggin' boss back in the 80s. I'm telling you right now. All right, so we fall out of initiative. You have Arendar at your feet is a slowly bleeding hobbit. Wraith, you are standing near the tower. You can see that the glyph that was scratched on the door that Vondram mentioned earlier has been the area around the wood where it was clawed in has sort of got like this sort of like frost cracking around it, almost like a rime around it. But it's definitely, to your eyes, it looks like it's been set off, like it's non-functional at this point.
Right. So I rolled a 32 to detect traps on the door.
Okay. 32 to detect traps. All right. So underneath the glyph on the door, like, can you guys still see me? I'm frozen. Can you
I
hear
can
me?
still hear. I can still
Yep.
hear you. And you're
Okay, cool.
back.
Okay, cool.
Right.
So lower down towards the foot of the door, you see what looks to be another series of small sigils. You're not a mage by any stretch of the imagination, but the placement of these sigils and the where it was, and you're thinking to your mind, this is exactly where I would put a magical trap.
Okay. So I roll the same. I roll the same perception check to disable traps. Is that correct?
I think
no?
you rolled disable device is the skill. I don't think it's the same as your perception. It can be, but I don't think it automatically
Okay.
is.
No, it's disabled device.
Okay. So I am going to carefully try to disable these traps.
Okay.
25.
25 plus magical trap. Let's look at the DC deep disabled device 17. You are easily able to use some tools and disable this trap. You scratch out a few of the sigils. It makes a few spark noises. There's a little bit of a ozony smell, but you're pretty sure that you have disabled it.
Okay. Then I'll check to see if the door is locked.
In there.
Door is indeed locked
Then
from the inside.
is it disable device to try and undo the lock?
Yep.
25. Yeah,
25.
you pull out your satchel of tools, begin pulling the thing. Takes you a few seconds, but you do manage. You get a hook into it, and you pull the latch and unlock the door.
Okay. I will let everyone around me know that I think I've disabled the additional trap and the door is unlocked. And I can move in, or I can open it and let someone else move in. And
I'll head in.
if you're finished murdering the already unconscious
Oh, he's
hobbit,
unconscious.
So what are you gonna do with that guy? Yeah,
in an
before you.
attempt to try to even the score, he still counts as mine.
That's fine.
So do you guys like slash his throat and dump him in the river, kind of thing?
I want to question him, but
I can
Well, to
stabilize
question
him if you want to talk to him.
Yeah, he is kind of bleeding out a little bit.
Yeah, I got stabilized as a cantrip. I can do that automatically.
All right, so you stabilize him at 0.
Mhm.
Okay.
and then just tie his hands and hog tie him.
Another Hobbit prisoner. You guys are the worst. Didn't you murder the last Hobbit prisoner?
Yeah.
Okay. All
course.
right.
I can do a heal check too, right? To get him back a point or two.
Point if you beat a DC 15.
Okay. So he does kind of, if you I'm assuming you stabilize him, then tie him, then bring him around.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. We'll get to that in a minute. You kind of sort of slap him around a little bit, and he sort of comes to. He's obviously suffering from the disabled since he was knocked unconscious. He has the disabled condition for right now, so he's not going to do it. But he is awake, sort of sitting on the ground there, and sort of looking angry at Vondram. Arendar, you open the door, and there's no map for this. I'm just going to talk to you what you see inside. This is a 2-floor sort of tower. It's not very big, 10 feet across, and there's a small sort of iron stairway that goes up to the second floor in the center of the building. The interior is pretty warm. It's about 130 degrees in here, which is probably wasn't enough to kill the 2 corpses that you see sitting at small tables in the building. It looks like these may have been, they're dressed as elvish guards. They have armor on, tooled leather armor on. They have long swords at their hips. It looks like they died here. These 2 corpses are sort of leaning against the walls, and you can see they have weapons and stuff on them. There's it looks like their bodies look almost like a little bit raisiny. The heat and the dry air, even above the river, has kept them from rotting properly. They're almost sort of mummifying in the enclosed stone of this thing. It's all, this building is almost sort of turned into a crock pot.
So does it look like they were just died sitting there, or does it look?
Give me a medicine check.
Okay, that's 2nd edition. Could be a heal check in this case.
Heal check, I mean, that's what I meant.
I'm not for a heal check. I would be calling the Poe for that one.
All right, give it a perception or something like that.
I got
18.
perception.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to look and see if I can figure out what caused their death.
Okay.
24.
Natural 20.
There you go.
Oh, and 24 for Wraith. So Wraith and Arendar sort of talk a little bit about it. Your best guess, as you both can sort of consult each other on it, is that these guys look like they may have died of starvation.
Okay.
There's no food in here or anything like that. It was locked from the inside. There doesn't seem to be any signs of violence on their bodies. They don't look injured or anything like that. They haven't been in a battle and left here after losing a fight. It looks like they died at their posts. Their weapons are all still on them. There's also some weapons sort of kicking around in the building. You see a couple of composite longbows that look exquisitely made, excellent elven manufacturer, a small sort of keg filled with arrows.
There's a composite longbow.
There's 2.
I'm taking it.
Wait, just wait a minute now.
Already got a composite longbow, don't you?
Yes, but that doesn't mean you get to take all the composite longbows. You're not an archer. Sit the fuck down.
But I've got strength, so I can take advantage of this composite longbow.
Yeah, no, grab them. There's 2 of them though, right? So you grab one, I'll put another on the party list.
There's 2, yeah. There's a small barrel, more like a keg with open tops, and in it's just jammed with elvish made arrows. At least 100, probably closer to 200 arrows in that barrel.
Okay.
Replenish. Does it say what strength rating there for?
Strength +1.
What's this?
2 elvish made long swords on their hips that are twins to each other pretty much, look to be masterwork, and they are wearing elvish chainmail made out of mithril. None of it and it looks they're just chainmail shirts.
So mithril chain shirts, heck yeah, we're snagging those things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'll do the roguey thiefy look around to make sure that there's nothing hidden or anything else sort of socked away or what have you.
And I want to do a perception check to see if I can notice that blue looking scepter across the river.
Okay.
The one right here.
That's it.
Oh yeah. No, you don't see that.
That's fantastic.
No, I'll come clean. That was that was supposed to be on the GM layer. That was what if you set off the magical trap, it basically set off a spiritual weapon trap. That was a spiritual weapon, a blue mace that would come out and attack you.
Oh.
But I was supposed to be on the GM layer, and my version of it was just off screen, so I didn't see it. So yeah, you don't see anything.
Okay.
So with a diligent search with a 28, do I find anything else in this tower?
Yeah,
And-
absolutely. So on the floor that you're on, yeah, you have they change shirts and that kind of stuff. They don't have any money or anything. You go upstairs into the second floor, and you see a small table and chair. There is a holy symbol on the table. It looks to be of elvish manufacturer. Unless you have any religious training, you might not necessarily recognize it. There's also what looks to be a map on a piece of parchment laying on the table. It's held down by little stones that looks to be potentially some like a small village. And there are small, maybe 2-inch tall carved wood figurines that have been placed at various places on the map. If you look at it from the point of view of, sort of a military point of view, it kind of looks like somebody was toying with ideas on how to defend this village, maybe how to move people around. Also on the table is a notebook, which is written in Elvish, a book and journal, it looks like, by a cleric who manned the tower.
That's all one thing.
Yeah, it's just one thing.
A notebook from a cleric. Okay.
And there's also a very on top of the book, you can see that there is a piece of parchment folded up, and on it written in do you speak Elvish or read Elvish?
I do. Hang on.
All right.
Let me double check that.
Okay.
Yes, I speak Elven.
All right. So there's a on top of the book, there's a small folded up piece of parchment, folded in the sort of way like if you were mailing a letter in the olden days, where you would just fold up the parchment and then seal it. Written on the frontispiece of this piece of parchment, it says, to whoever finds this, my last testament, written in Elvish.
So I will point out to our cleric type the notebook and the holy symbol and basically all of the stuff up here in case it has any religious significance that they are aware of.
Okay.
And I'll hold on to the parchment. And then, of course, if we can have our maids check if there's magic on any of this stuff. I assume that the rest of the stuff, the arrows, the composite longbows, the longswords, all of that is mundane, but masterwork.
It is. That's correct. It's mundane. You can do a quick. You have Vondrum or Titus do a quick detect magic. All of the weapons are so the weapons that I mentioned that were masterwork are masterwork. The arrows are regular work, but still of elvish quality.
Right.
Just not of sufficient quality to count as masterwork.
Right. So, but that gives us 2 composite longbows. They're not masterwork, but they allow +1 to damage for strength. 200 arrows, 2 masterwork elvish longswords, and 2 masterwork elven chain shirts that are made of mithril.
Mithril chain shirts, right?
So I'll point out the priestly stuff to someone who understands that better.
I don't want to leave the halfling until maybe Ono. Can Ono watch the halfling, or is he gone for the night?
I think he hasn't got logged back on, so he might be gone for the night.
I can watch a halfling for you.
Okay, you want to come look at the halfling while I check out the
Absolutely.
cleric stuff? All right, well, I'll go up there and check things out then, Les.
Oh, I'm not down there yet. There he goes. Turn away.
No.
His knees. Spread the blood.
What did you say?
I'm not
You're going to check out. So you're going to put Ono in charge of. So Ono is going to actually get back to his regular size at some point, and then he's going to be in charge. Since he's not here, he's going to be in charge of watching the halfling.
Oh, okay.
And then Vondrum, you're going to go up, and Poe are going to go check out what exactly the material that.
The clerical material, the holy symbol, the map, the carved wood figurines, the notebook from a cleric, and then the parchment last letter. I can open that and read it myself.
Okay.
Need a spellcraft check for any of those? Is that spellcraft for checks? I mean, I
Just did a knowledge religion check and did horribly at it. So
what was your knowledge religion check. 5, yeah, natural 1. Yeah, you're not sure what that holy symbol is. It's definitely elvish, but you're not sure what elven god. You're not surprisingly, you're not at all not 100% familiar with some of the elvish gods.
I'll see if I can beat a 5.
Okay, Nope.
I cannot.
it's a mystery. In your defense, it's sort of like a stylized version. It might be, it's sort of a Picasso of holy symbols. So
Yes.
one eye's over here, the other is down here. Who knows what's going on with that stuff?
Damn impressionism.
Damn impressionism's ruined it for everyone. All right. So what do you look at next? You want to look at the notebook?
Yep.
Okay. All right. So the notebook is written entirely in Elvish. In Vondram, Poe, you speak that, right?
I speak Sylvan, which I think is the same thing. Or
Yeah, it's related. Absolutely. So basically it's a logbook, and it's written by an Elvish priest who was in the tower, and his name was Burasrava. Which, if you know, have with Sylvan, Sylvan is connected to Celestial. You'll know in Celestial that means defeated in no battles. Is the name of that word?
Can you spell that for me?
Burisrava. Burasrava.
BHARIS
Rava.
RAVA. Okay.
Burasrava. Which means in Celestial, defeated in no battles. The book basically talks about Burasrava's last couple of weeks in the tower, mixed with some of his sort of thoughts on the nature of faith and how, the spirits of the elves and the spirits of the humans interact and stuff like that. As you read sort of through it, you could tell that the priest was facing death, and that he wished to convert from the worship of Cernunnos, which was more of a war, is kind of a war god, to the worship of Findalara, but Findaladara, which was more of a pastoral healing god, and that as he was facing the prospect of his own death, he wondered if he might not switch his allegiances, but eventually did not. But he didn't know how he would go about doing that. He also talks in many instances about refugees who spoke of fires that simply would not go out. And then he talks about how the elves of the Indomitable forest tried to save their homes, but not even magic could put out the flames, which is probably, you recognize, Indomitable's work. There's no body here, but the journal and the map, you're guessing, is that the village on the other side of the river was probably this guy's village. You don't see, there's a point in the village where he says, he mentions the Shrine of Anyariel, which you don't recognize the name, could be some sort of elvish thing. And that's where it sort of stops. He mentions that, there needs to be some preservation of the Shrine of Anyariel, and that he talks about the family of some elvish name that is sort of obscured, some of the ink is smeared, has gone down to the shrine to protect it. But other than that, there's no details. And that's his final entry. So a couple of things to take about. You're guessing that this Burasrava was a priest of maybe this village that is just over the bridge, that you guys could see sort of in the smoke, but that there was problems. The fires couldn't be put out. He talks about trying to get refugees downriver and failing, and then talking about this Shrine of Anyariel, which, and he mentions this family whose name is unintelligible, has gone below to preserve the shrine, which maybe it's in the village, maybe not, you don't know.
Does the map corroborate any of this or have any?
The map has locations, but they're all sort of shorthand. They're not in Elvish. There's certain buildings are listed with single symbols, some with, a pair of symbols, but they're not Elvish runes by any stretch of the imagination. This may be some sort of personal shorthand that he used or something like that. it doesn't give you any idea what these buildings were. You do notice that there does seem to be in the middle of the village does seem to be a statue of some sort, or some sort of it's marked on the page in the parchment with the symbol of a stag. You're not sure what it means. Maybe it's a meeting place or a shrine or something like that. It's not marked other than just that symbol of that you recognize as a stag.
No other obvious shrines though.
Not on this map.
Okay.
So I'll read the letter.
You open up the letter?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh.
You open up the letter and it says this. I tire of spending my days rescuing the burning bodies of survivors and tending to them to no effect. The last survivor I found was a woman who still believed that the living wood of Indomitable could not be abandoned. She asked my help looking for her boyfriend. We found him in a hidden basement under the Shrine of Anyariel, where he had gone to curse the Anyariel name, along with a dozen other of the townsfolk. The fire had somehow burned in from the roots of the shrine, and they had long since been claimed. Though not dead, they are despairing, and their curses haunt me. The woman saw her beloved and fled me into the woods, seeking an impossible death. I found myself hoping something ate her. I never learned her name. I can do this no longer. To whatever God hears the prayers of the doubting, please give me the strength for the task ahead of me. I am going to deliver the despairing to the mouth of the White River upstream, where at least they can have some reprieve from the fire. May someone find what I have hidden. It would help bring to justice those responsible for the destruction of my beautiful homeland, for which otherwise none shall shed tears.
A lot of
Okay.
information in there.
Yeah,
You guys want to see it again?
I've still got it. So
Okay.
may someone find what I've hidden. Let's see.
So he says he's gone to deliver the despairing to the mouth of the White River upstream.
The despairing being her? No, she fled.
Well, he mentioned this one woman who, was like my whole life is destroyed kind of thing because of this crazy fires.
But he also
Sorry.
they also mentioned refugees, that he was trying to get to get upstream to somewhat safety, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the one woman left. She fled into the woods, but he took the rest.
I'll find what I have hidden. Is there any mention about him hiding anything though? I don't.
Not in the rest of the thing. He says, I'm going to deliver the despairing to the mouth of the White River upstream, where at least they can have some reprieve from the fire. So yeah, it does look like that he has taken some people to safety, or theoretically has.
And based on this, and don't make me do an intelligence check, what I think that means whatever he's hidden is somewhere at the mouth of the White River.
No, I
It sounds like it's very cryptic. It might have been hidden in the village.
yeah, I feel like it's not with them. That was where he ended up, but with where he was when he wrote this.
Okay.
So this is a cleric. If he was a cleric, then maybe the stag thing is a shrine where he was practicing. That would be the most likely place, maybe.
Theoretically. I mean, there's a building that's marked with a stag sort of in the center of the map of the village. None of the other buildings are marked with any sort of animal symbols or anything like that. This is the only one. You do know that Sarunos, who he mentions in the thing, presents himself as a muscular elf with fur clothing, and the clothing has drawings of leaping animals on it, which could be a stag.
So based on that mention of the god's name, does that give Gordon the ability for another religion check?
Sure.
Is that who we're dealing with here?
Sure.
That-
Yeah,
that
I
does.
think he would give him another one.
Ooh, 2 this time.
Shoot. Yeah, he's like, Kerna who? What now? I don't know. This
Let's see if
doesn't sound like any elves I ever heard of.
Maybe Vonder can get this one.
Come on,
Okay.
Vondi. Yes.
There it is. All right. You do know Cernunnos. Cernunnos is a warrior god of the elves, specifically wood elves mostly, but also other elves as well. Any elves who sort of believe in vigorous defense of their nation kind of thing would be followers of Cernunnos. The other name that he mentions, Findaladara, is also referred to as the guiding hand. Typically, that's traditionally known as the elvish god of art and preservation of art, but it also has an element of healing to it. That Findaladara is also patron saint of certain kinds of healers.
Okay. So the elves that we encountered said that we could actually get some rest in this town, but it kind of seems like it's a ghost town.
You don't see any people as you approach. Do you go ahead and cross the bridge entirely and move over towards the village to check it out?
Gotta deal with this halfling before we do
Yeah.
anything too.
Real quick,
Yeah, true.
oh my
Make
gosh,
resting easier.
my dice rolls have like absolutely sucked. Okay, I just murder the halfling and we go on.
Oh, okay. You just flat out just slash his throat.
Yeah, because I'm pretty sure 12 is not going to get him to give us anything. So I ask him a question, he spits in my face or whatever he does, and so I just stab him and
Okay.
we move on.
Man, I'll tell you what. Just really quickly, what's the alignments here?
I knew that was coming.
Just curious. I know. Whenever I ask Mike, he goes, "I don't know what my alignment is, but I'm pretty sure it's got a neutral in it."
Mine's got a chaotic in it.
Ooh, all right. Well, any lawful goods in the party? Just ask it. I'm just
No.
asking questions here.
Eric's not here tonight, so yeah, we're
Yeah.
good.
boy, he punched out just in time, didn't he?
Oh,
Yeah,
I
we-
sent
Hey,
him along.
Eric, look over there.
Actually, last time that's exactly what I did.
Yeah.
Wraith and Aranar stayed behind. I was like, oh no, go with the group. Just go on ahead.
Now you know he's going to watch this video and he's going to know what you guys did.
But he
You're
wasn't.
murders. All right, so you guys murdered the defenseless halfling, and then move deeper into the fire forest towards to examine the village. Yeah.
Well, from my perspective, I already killed the halfling. They brought him back just to murder him again. So I'm in good in this.
All right, you guys move forward and begin to look at as the elf village comes into play.
Now, based on the map that I think Poe has now,
Oh,
where is this? Is this stag related thing?
Your suspicion is that it's just in the middle of the thing there, yeah. So there does see. So as you approach, you can see. So a couple of things you see as you approach the village. It does seem to be burning. I mean, you can see a lot of buildings that were once elvish dwellings, some of them in trees that are on fire, some of them on the ground. They all seem to be burning merrily and burning in such a way that they do not seem to ever run out of fuel.
so they're not being consumed.
They're not
on
being
fire.
consumed. They're just on fire and continue to burn. As you kind of go through, this village wasn't very big, but you're guessing it would have held close to 100 elves. You don't see any elves here at all.
Are we in a river or is this a path?
It's a path.
And with our recent encounter with Indomitable, and sort of the first step of releasing him from the fire beetle, but before the fires we were dealing with sort of subsided a bit
Mhm.
after defeating the fire beetle. So
Yep.
in this case, that's not true.
Well, these fires, they're not as vicious, I guess, is for lack of a better term, is the fires that you were dealing like. So that one fire curtain that was approaching you, it seemed like it was almost under other people's control as it was coming towards you, because when you killed the fire beetle, it disappeared, it winked out.
Right.
These fires seem more or less average for what you've seen of the fire forest, but they're certainly not regular fires.
Yeah, they're not consuming and going out. So
Mhm. Yeah, they're just burning and burning and burning. So you can see that you're on a path, but you can see there are these sort of arched bridges, much like the stone bridge. They're sort of arching over the path. The path is somewhat sunken a bit, maybe a couple of feet as you walk through. It's certainly not a water channel. It's a path, but there are bridges that go over the top of it. It's more ornamental than anything else. But yeah, you see several buildings sort of scattered about. And over here, you can see that there is one big mound about 10, 12 feet across lengthwise that has a large wooden carving of a pretty substantial stag. 8 feet tall at the shoulder, or well, 6 feet tall at the shoulder on top of this mound. So it's probably 8 or 9 feet tall, plus the antlers go up another couple of feet. It's a big sort of statue that's right here. And it's sort of built, and it's made of wood that's not on fire. And it's sort of built up on this large mound is too pale a word. It's obviously that this pile of dirt was carefully crafted. It's got smooth sides, sort of geometrically done. It doesn't look very much like what you see here. It's actually it looks more like a plinth made out of earth than just a pile of dirt.
So like something that might be a worshipped item in a wood elf city.
It does give off the indication that it does seem to be in the very center of the village, and it doesn't seem to be affected by the fire. It hasn't caught on. I mean, it's got a little bit of ash and sort of maybe some soot around it, but it's not on fire.
I'm gonna start detecting magic.
Okay. Go ahead and do a detect mag. You're just going to go ahead and cast it.
Yep.
At the stag.
60-foot cone-shaped emanation. Yes.
Okay.
That is stag.
So
just go turn around in circles like a radar.
Okay. All right. So 60 feet. Let me see, how far is that? I'm just going to give you a quick aura here so I can see. 60-foot radius. All right.
Cone. A
A cone, yeah, but if you spin around, it becomes a radius.
Yeah.
It becomes a circle. So let's have a look. Oh yeah, it's pretty good. That's pretty good. Okay. Can you even see that?
Yep.
Can you guys see that?
The green?
Yeah.
I can't see it. Oh, there it is. Okay, yeah. Good God.
So that's pretty solid. I'm going to take that off. I'm going to essentially assume that you're doing detect magic over this is pretty much the entirety of the village for the most part. You can do detect magic. So the stag radiates magic, not massively powerful, but it does give you the impression of divination and transformation magic.
Divination. Huh?
Divination, yeah. There are other things that radiate divination. You can see over in this building over here, as you pass over there, you can see very faint a small, very small pinpoint of divination magic. You over here, back by the entranceway in this building over here, you see, hold on, let me check on this kind of thing. You see something in that fire that seems to be emanating, and I want to say this is evocation magic, but hold on a second. Yeah, it's evocation magic over here. And then
Are only you seeing it? Are you showing it just to Gordon, just to make sure I'm not missing it? Or
I'm drawing little circles where they're at.
okay, that's like a circle. Okay, got it.
And that's all the magical things you see.
Got it.
So I'm going to ask Poe, did the clerical writings that you read, did they suggest that there was some sort of underground area? that this stag thing was sort of underground a temple?
It didn't specifically say that. It did talk about the Shrine of Anyariel, which was a name that you didn't necessarily recognize. It did talk about that some of the people have gone below to protect the shrine, which seems to be sort of indicative that maybe it is underground in some way. But there was nothing in the notebook that made any sort of direct connection with this stag shrine and the Shrine of Anyariel. I mean, you guys could try and maybe do some knowledge religion or knowledge nature to try and figure out what Anyariel is.
Thus, this area here, is that just a couple rocks in the pathway?
Yeah, that's just a couple of stones, but up. They look like they were placed there. They don't seem to have any particular significance to you. It's probably, that some elves will put naming stones in the centers of their thing. They don't radiate any magic or anything like that. You can't see from there if there's any glyphs or anything on them.
I'm just thinking about access to underground. That could be, under the stones.
Possibly.
That's why I was asking.
Knowledge religion.
You do a quick knowledge religion.
Sure.
Okay. 19. All right. So you do sort of recognize, it takes you a minute to sort of, recollect the thought, but you do recognize the name of Anyariel. Anyariel was a hero of the Indomitable forest, a holy warrior who died only a few years before the forest caught fire. Now, obviously, this is years and years ago, decades ago, maybe even centuries. It was said that Anyariel was a friend of the forest's fae, was blessed by the forest itself, and had many times fought darkness in Indomitable's borders, wielding a magic sword. So Anyariel, at least from your point of view, wasn't necessarily an elf, but a friend of the fae, an elf friend.
Wouldn't Poe have some kind of knowledge of that, if given his fae?
It's possible, but considering Poe's roles lately, I'm thinking that maybe he skipped some of those classes. 16. Okay, yeah. So you also recognize the name of Anyariel, and you know that in the legends that you've seen, that that Anyariel wielded a sword that was carved of wood, which she would use to defeat many monsters, including a particularly tough anti-paladin from Sargava. And in other stories, a rampaging golem made of white clay. A Chilaxian anti-paladin out of Sargava. Anyariel is reputed to have defeated with a great sword carved of wood. Anybody else want to take a crack at it? Knowledge nature, knowledge religion?
Can I move up here and search sort of the circumference of this mound for secret doors, entrances, et cetera, et cetera?
Sure, absolutely. Vondra, you got nothing.
Yeah, I got nothing.
Was that? Did anybody get a knowledge nature or anything like that?
You can knowledge nature too, but it's.
You could try it. You can knowledge religion or knowledge nature. Yeah.
Oh!
So is that knowledge nature?
Yep.
All right. This isn't necessarily religious. Anyariel, from your point of view, at least from your education, was not necessarily a religious figure, more of a mythological figure. And as part of the story that you remember, that the last foe that Anyariel faced was a huge stag that would not die no matter how many wounds Anyariel dealt to it. So she pinned the creature to the bottom of a lake with her sword so that its rampage through the Indomitabel would end. That's the myth. All right, Wraith, your 23 perception as you look around. At first, you look around, and you're like, "This is stupid. This is a mud plinth, an earthen plinth. There's no secret doors here." And you get to take a closer look, and you're like, "Wait a second." You look on this side of the plinth next to the stag, and as you're looking on the thing, you sort of look up, and you can see on the stag that there is an elvish symbol, which you recognize is the symbol for like doorway or portal. and then another symbol which points away from the stag. So as you turn around and look at these naming stones, for that is what it is. They're elvish naming stones. As you get close, and they are covered with soot and ash, so you have to wipe a little bit of away. But once you do that, they're essentially small obelisks that have the story of the village sort of carved into them. And your 23 allows you to see that one of these, the stones themselves are probably 4 or 5 feet tall and maybe a 1.5 foot in diameter. You sort of lean into one and you feel it sort of shift, and then you can sort of push it sideways, and it opens up a small like a trapdoor or a cylinder that goes down, and you can see a wooden ladder that goes down into the darkness.
Well, obviously, I will call everyone's attention to that. And bring everyone up.
Well done. Well done.
And then, I mean, I know we need to rest. Our spellcasters need to rest. I don't think that there's much rest to be had up here with all these fires raging. Do you want me to try to stealthily check below to see if there's an area that we can get to?
Yeah, I think we need to check the other 2 magic areas just to make sure that we're not missing anything up here
Yeah.
first.
Since we saw him, that makes sense.
Yeah, I can go and help you look, but I'm kind of useless at finding magic necessarily. I can't detect it. So my whole thought at this point is if there's an underground area that we can actually stop and rest without fear of bursting into flames, that might be worth taking advantage of, since most of our spellcasters are completely out of spells.
The air that is coming up from that sort of tunnel that's leading downward, it is markedly cooler than the air around you. The air around you is pretty much piping hot, markedly cooler underground. There is sort of a sour smell to it, though. A little bit something went over down there.
Yeah, I'll leave it up to the group and to the wiser among us than I am. If you want me to go down and try to stealthily check it out and see what I can see, I will happily do that. If you want to go and look for these places where you saw magic, I can assist you if you want, or I can stay here and sort of hold this position, whatever you want me to do.
I'll send Lorelei with you to go check out a little bit. Just don't go too far so we can hear you scream if you get attacked.
Yeah.
I have a very good set of lungs. You'll hear me scream if I get attacked.
All right, Lorelei perches on your shoulder and you begin making way. So it goes downward about 15 feet on this wooden ladder that is exquisitely carved. And as you get closer to the bottom, which you can see from some of the lights that's coming down now, the ruddy light of the flame forest, which is reaching downward, you can see that around the walls, which have quite quickly turned to stone, maybe 10 feet down. Suddenly it's not earth anymore, but it's stone. Those stone sort of cylinder that surrounds you has a bunch of elvish runes and stuff on it. You can't make much out of it. They look like religious symbols or something like that, but you are certainly passing through there. Eventually you reach the bottom of the ladder and there's a small, I want to say patio, but that's not right. Where stairs stop and go in different directions? Landing, a small landing that is right there. You step on that, you turn around and you can see that there is another, in this case, a set of stairs, which is going downward. You also see some light coming from down there, which is bluish, a sort of a blue-white light. It's very faint. But there is some light coming from down there.
Yeah, I'll be stealth.
Okay, 21 stealth. All right.
And so on this landing, there's one set of stairs going down.
One set of stairs going down.
And there's nothing else.
Nope.
So there's the point of entrance is above our heads on a ladder.
Yep.
The only other point of entry, the only other point of exit is downstairs towards what appears to be a bluish light.
Correct.
So at that point, and I don't even know if I can do this, I'll tell Lorelei, go tell your master what we found.
Okay. Lorelei flies up and disappears.
We're actually linked. She doesn't have to do that. She can just tell me. So
I don't know that. I don't even know if she understands me. That's why I said, go tell your master what we found.
she talks. She's a little
She's like a Tinkerbell.
human. Yeah,
She hasn't spoken to me.
But she's probably spoken around you.
Yeah, we've
I
been
would
together
guess.
a while. She's talked to you.
Okay.
Sure.
And then in that case, I will change that to
She's probably like, what's murder like?
very, very tasty. Let your master know that there's a landing here that we might actually be able to rest. And I'm guessing it's significantly cooler.
It is. It's cooler. Probably a drop of 25 to 30 degrees. So
Right.
it's not cool. It's not 70.
No.
It's still, there's still a fair amount of heat down here, but a markedly different temperature, much more
Right.
comfortable than upstop.
Right. So I'll just ask her to relay that back to Poe.
She'll just send feelings of goodness to him, so he knows
Okay.
that what they were looking for is found.
Now you're still on the landing, right?
Yeah, I'm still on the landing. And
Okay.
I'll be looking towards the downstairs and listening to see if there's anything sort of moving up towards the position I'm basically asking all my friends to come to.
Give me a perception check. 20. All right, hold on a second. I gotta check something here. Before we go any further, I just have to do what's that? All right, let me do a quick roll here. Just ignore this roll. It means nothing.
Yeah, now that I'm down here all by myself.
Mhm.
Okay. Well, you're not all by yourself. Lorelai's still with you.
Okay.
So 20 perception. So when you opened up the cylinder, there was a musty smell, a little sour smell. And as you've gotten down here, even though the temperature is much cooler, that sour smell has become more pronounced. I'm not going to go so far and say it's decomp,
Okay.
but it's not good. It smells a little bit like rotting food. But it could be decomp, depending on how decomposed the bodies are. So you still smell that. The blue-white light seems uniform in that it doesn't flicker or anything. But as you are standing there watching and waiting, there does come a point where something passes in front of the light. So there's this moment of shadow,
Okay.
and then the light returns. So it's like, imagine you're around the corner from a very bright street lamp.
Right.
You can't see the street lamp directly, but you see the light that's coming off of it. And if something passed in front of the street lamp, the shadows and the reflections that you see would show that. And
Right.
that's kind of what you're seeing. Something you're sure something has passed in front of that, whatever's emitting the blue-white light, in a way that blocked it briefly from your sight, and it came back. You did not hear anything.
Okay. And if I can, I'll whisper to shit, what's her name?
Lorelai.
Lorelai.
To relay what I'm whispering to you to Poe.
All right.
It
So Poe,
smells, it smells potentially like the dead down here. And the blue light at the end of the stairs, something just moved in front of it.
She's gonna have to go up to talk to Poe directly then, because the link is just empathic.
It's
not gonna be
right.
able
It's emotions and stuff, but I'm asking her to relay that very specific information. So if she needs to go up to be able to speak to you, then, I get that.
All right, she can do that.
And I'm going to stay stealthily where I am and try to hide.
okay. Yeah, she comes popping out. Whoops, not 2 raids. It's too much.
She phoned me on the way out. That's nice.
So Lorelai comes up and explains that to you. So the rest of you, so I know what Wraith is doing. He's down at the staircase and listening and watching to see what happens. What are the rest of you doing while he's down there?
Well, once
Risking
I
his
hear
life.
that there's something down there,
Mhm.
I'm gonna start stealthing down the ladder.
Okay.
Poe's checking out the magic areas, less he's over the first one here.
Okay.
And he's gonna check the other one.
So there's something, that building is not 100%.
Gosh.
So I just got an email or a text from Eric. He says, There was some sort of power event here. It looks like some of the outlets in my house no longer work. So they must have had a big spike where he is.
Like circuit breaker.
Yeah, it sounds like a circuit breaker.
Hold on, I'll tell him to check the circuit
I
breaker.
got tripped and didn't come back on or something.
He says the circuit breaker box looks fine. I'm doing a lot of reconnecting right now. Okay.
Could be if they're surge protectors, they could have those GFCI circuit things too. It's like in a kitchen or a bedroom or bathroom. I mean,
check the
ground fault protection.
CIs. The ground fault protectors. Okay. All right. So Aaron, you're actually going down there. So give me, that's 11 stealth.
Yeah.
So Wraith, you hear your brother clumsily coming down the ladder, clanking away and making a schlodem noise.
Unfortunately, Chuck's not here to make fun of you. So
okay, he'll be back.
That's why I did it that way.
We'll tell him. Okay.
So you're clanking around. Paul, you get close to there, and you're. I'm assuming you're using detect magic to sort of hone in on this thing. It looks like it's inside one of the burning buildings. Now you think you can get in there and kind of hunker around without necessarily burning yourself up, but it's not great.
We've got our lip
still have the
balm
salve,
smeared
right?
all over ourselves, so we should be fine.
Okay, you got the ungent, so that's helpful. You want to go try and go in there?
Sure.
All right. You go in there and you can see what looks to be the abode of a large elvish family. None of them are here. There's no bodies here. There's no people here. It looks like whoever lived here departed in a hurry. There are things tossed to the ground. It's a bit of a mess. A lot of things are burnt, that kind of stuff. But as you sort of home in on this thing, you have to sort of rummage around in a little bit of a pile of detritus. You find what looks to be a necklace made of leaves carved of ivory that radiates a faint level of divination magic.
A necklace made of ivory carved as leaves.
I say I got a girlfriend in town who'd like that. With a devilish.
Ain't divination. Okay. Well, can I grab it?
Yeah.
And that's basically the magic that I detected is this. There's nothing.
Yeah, it was really hard to pinpoint. You had to rummage around for a little bit, but that's it. Yeah.
Okay. I will grab it and then I'm going to go to this other place. And at some point, Lorelei is going to tell me what Wraith saw, and I will pass it on to everybody else. Tell them that probably we should start going down there, but I still want to check this other magic area.
Okay. Well, Arendar went down there, and Wraith, you can hear your brother quite easily clonking down the wooden ladder. His armor clinking and bouncing off the stone. His falcata, whacking into the side of the ladder. He's not being what you would consider.
You rolled an 11 stealth, Chuck.
Massively stealthy.
I'm accustomed to this, so I'm just gonna wince and wait for him to get to the bottom, and then.
Actually, you typically aren't accustomed to this.
Yeah, I know you think you're stealthy.
I'm fairly stealthy.
I know you think you're stealthy. I know you do. But you're in my world, son.
Give me, Wraith, give me a quick perception check.
20
again. All right. So you remember that shadow that passed in front of the white light?
Yeah.
You see it happen 2 more times, and then it stays in front of the white light for a longer period of time. And you can hear what sounds like hissing.
Does it sound like a language?
Could be.
So it's apparently not one I understand, but does it sound?
Well, you can't make out any words. It could be a language that you understand. It's just it's being spoken in a way that you can't really make out anything. It's more like hissing or
I've gone dead.
Yeah,
it's Sleestacks. I know it's Sleestacks.
It's Sleestack.
It's always Sleestacks.
It said, didn't they say that it was cursed? They couldn't die. Or does that make them undead maybe if they can't die?
I don't know. The
Well,
letter you mean?
Yeah,
Yeah,
the letter
based-
said that they
based-
could die, I thought.
Based on the letter, I think it's undead.
She asked my help looking for her boyfriend. We found him in a hidden basement under the Shrine of Anyariel, where he had gone to curse the Anyariel name along with a dozen other of the townsfolk. The fire had somehow burned in from the roots of the shrine, and they had long since been claimed. Although not dead, they are despairing, and their curses haunt me. The woman saw her beloved and fled me into the woods, seeking an impossible death.
So undead, yeah.
Yeah, so I assume that meant undead. So if I can, I'm going to try to subtly signal Arendar.
To shut the hell up.
Well, basically, yeah.
Okay.
To stop and try again, if that's possible. Just I'm going to let him know to pause, to stop where he is because he's attracting attention.
Okay. Do you do that?
Yes.
Okay. So you pause and you both end up on the landing, sort of hunched over, trying to be quiet and listening for other things. What about, okay, so Poe is rummaging around in a burning elvish house. Arendar and Wraith have gone downstairs. What about the rest of you? Vondram, Titus, we'll skip Ono for right now, but Vondram and Titus, what are you guys doing?
I've been sticking around with Poe. Just
All right,
seeing
so
how
you're
to-
helping Poe.
Yeah, not helping, but just watching his back, really.
All right, and so Poe has come around here. Titus, what about you? You've been suspiciously quiet.
I'm just kind of wandering around, sort of trying to see if I can see anything, either through detect magic or just keen observation. I also understand languages, so if I need to, I can.
Well, so there, I mean, so you would recognize that when Poe talks about the things that he thinks that he's discovered with detect magic, you would fire up detect magic as well and see the same things. You see them as well, and you can see them sort of approach this house because you can see as well as anybody that there is something radiating evocation magic in there. You also, one thing that does catch your eye, well, actually, give me a perception check, Titus.
Okay.
Come on, you're great at perception checks. Much better than I don't know,
Name
Arendar
anybody.
or Ono.
Okay.
Ono, Eric really has problems with perception checks.
Oh,
15. So you're watching these guys, but you sort of look past them over here at this building right over here. And again, it's in flames like everything else, but you do see on the door a symbol which is recognizable in Elvish because the symbol in Elvish and the symbol in Common are very much the same. It looks like that this is noted as the House of a Bard.
I have an affinity for bards. I'll go check it out.
You can see that on the door underneath this symbol, you can see the carving of a horn and a lyre, one of the one of those small
So it's a horny bard that'll lie to get what he wants.
exactly, they're all the same. All right, you go over check that out.
Yeah.
All right,
Where was it exactly? Over
it's
here?
this one over here.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll go have a look.
Okay, we'll get back to you in a minute. Poe, you're going to do the same thing you did before. It's like kind of pop in and rely on the ungent to protect you.
Yep.
All right. So you again, this house is much more destroyed by the fire, so it's a little bit more difficult. I'm going to need a reflex save from you to avoid getting burned even through the ungent.
Reflex save.
And the DC is going to be 12. 13. Ooh, just made it. All right. So yeah, you managed not to get bored. There's a couple of times when you pull your hand back. You have to dig around under some stuff, but you do find what looks to be a wand made of iron that radiates evocation magic.
A what?
A wand made of iron. looks like it's cast. It's a wand. It's about probably 16, 18 inches long, and it's got iron like knobs on it. So it's not just a straight wand, but it has like little grip areas almost that you can grab onto. There's a bunch of little iron nuggets that are stuck to it.
More magic than we have found in like a year.
And just as an aside, the magic that you're finding going through all this, you're tracking it, right?
Yes, I got two
Okay.
things and I wrote them down.
Okay.
Oh
perfect.
no, Eric just texted me. He says it looks like my cable modem has been fried. So we
Oof.
will not be seeing him tonight. I'll text him after we finish. We're about 15 minutes or 20 minutes away. So
Yeah.
Ask him if his phone,
needs
if he
to
can
buy
use
some
his
surge
phone as a
protectors.
hotspot.
I'll ask him.
Yeah, surge protectors are kind of built for that reason.
Use your
But as long as you're writing it down, then I won't bother tracking it. So
I'll send it to you, Chuck.
hotspot.
Let's see. You want the Yahoo one or the Gmail one? Or the CPD one? Man, I got it.
well, I mean, if you're tracking it, there's no need for me to. It'll depend on if you decide to keep it or introduce it to party stuff. So
Okay.
otherwise, if you're going to email me, do it to the CBD one. That's my domain.
I'll send it to you just so you have it.
Titus, give me a perception check. As you peer through the sin, you wedge open the door and peer into the burning hovel that you believe may have belonged at one point to some elvish bard. 27, excellent perception check. So you kick open the door a little bit. You can see that the fire has pretty much taken the house. There's not much left in here that hasn't been burned or at least singed in some way. But you can see off in the corner, under what looks to be a very strategically placed water pitcher that is now empty of water, but it looks like it was set up so that it would continuously drip water down onto what looks to be a fairly large blanket.
Well, I guess I'm gonna yell at everyone. I see something in here. It's very curious and I need to go in and take a look.
All right. You go in there and take a look. There's also a lot of fire in here. Give me a reflex save to avoid a little burnination.
Reflex save,
DC.
reflex.
DC 12
Oh, hang on.
to
New
avoid
saves.
burnination. Eric, I sent him a message about the hotspot. He says, my computer network is wired and only local, like in Battlestar Galactica.
Oh my.
Hoping my router is not fried too. Fortunately, my computer is okay.
22 reflex.
22 reflex. You easily manage to avoid flaming ash and avoid getting that, although you do get a hint of a blister on your pinky finger, and you manage to get to the blanket, and you can feel that there's something, maybe several somethings wrapped in the blanket.
Do I feel, are they squirming? Are they alive?
No, they're clanking.
They're what?
They are, you can hear sort of metallic noises inside.
I said clanging like a trolley.
No, clanking like a cymbal. Not really, but like metal on metal.
All right, well, I will, I'll do the take all command.
Okay, you're gonna just grab the whole blanket, carry it off,
And the pitcher.
and the pitcher. Okay, and you make off into the outside. So you get outside, you open up the blanket. The pitcher is just an elvish pitcher, very nicely crafted out of elvish pottery, painted nicely, but it's pretty scorched and has some soot on it from the fires. It definitely was set up to try and dribble water in it, because you can, yeah, I mean, it looks exactly like a water pitcher. You open up the blanket and you find three things inside. One, a elvish horn, the kind of horn that goes up and down and up and down and up and down and up and down, is inside, wrapped gently in the blanket and padded in it. You also find padded in another smaller blanket contained within a silver lyre. One of the strings has been bent, but other than that, it looks okay. It looks in pretty good condition.
How is the string bent?
It's metal. It's got like a kink in it, like a wire.
Well,
Not like a
Things
guitar
are kept
string.
under tension. How would the how?
This one is somehow kind of gotten loose and it's it's corked.
Okay.
Don't try to use your magical knowledge, your musical knowledge against me, mister. And then also there is a book, which you read Elvish, right?
Yeah.
It is a book of Elvish, and it talks about, it's a book of songs, also wrapped in there. Parchments. These are religious songs primarily.
Nothing body.
Nothing bawdy in there, but old school Elvish religious songs.
Not even good drinking songs.
Doesn't look like, no.
Damn.
Your guess
Okay.
is that this would be valuable to somebody, though.
All right. Well, let's see. Who's our cleric? Do we have a cleric?
Yeah, Poe's a cleric.
Poe.
What?
It's Poe.
Oh, Poe. Hey, you want to sing a song?
It's not just
Onward, Elvish soldiers.
it's not just songs. I mean, it's essentially in large part, I don't want to say orchestral, but musical scores along with the lyrics. So you can see it's fairly complicated stuff. Where you would see like almost like an orchestral score for various religious songs of Elven derivation.
So like a Lord of the Rings soundtrack.
Kind of, yeah, or something by Anya.
Dun, 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 dun,
It's in there.
dun, dun, dun.
All right, and all right, so you guys got that iron wand. Titus got the musical instruments. Let's go back downstairs to where Wraith and Arendar are. What do you guys do down there?
So
You guys are still right now. You guys are still on the landing. There's a set of stairs going down, and the blue-white light is coming through from the area that those stairs go down. You also see a little bit of rubble down there too. So the bottom of the stairs has a little bit of rubble, which you suspect might be worse inside the room because you sort of see the like shadows and stuff.
yeah, but at this point, we've gotten to the landing, and I assume that I would have been able to, in some way, communicate quietly that there's something down there. There's been breaks in the light. When you were coming down, you made a little bit of noise. The break in the light was longer, so something was standing there looking up. So there's someone down there.
Okay.
And so at this point, my whole thing is to just remain stealthy, remain quiet, hopefully not let them know that we're here, and wait for our companions to, because once they start coming down, I don't think some of them have the ability to be quiet.
Just
So
gonna play that horn.
at that point, it's on like Donkey Kong. But for now,
Right.
I'd like to
So
try to
I'll probably
perceive what I can.
Yeah.
Right. So peek around the corner, try to stay stealthy, and see if I could get any kind of intel about what we're dealing with. And again, my assumption is it's undead based on the letter that I read from the deceased Elvish cleric.
And basically, I'll just kind of set up on the edge of the stairs so I can be the front line if something does start coming up the stairs. I've got my sword and shield out, but I'm just waiting there.
Well, isn't Wraith going to go down the stairs and peek in?
No, I'm going to look around the corner and try to peek down and see what I can see. Otherwise,
you still have to kind of go down the stairs.
Yeah, no, at this point, I'm
Okay.
not. I'm going to stay behind my brother by about 5 feet. So if something comes up and he acts as this front shield, I'll be in the back plinking it with arrows, basically. That's our standard formation.
Yeah.
Right. But in this case, if you're behind your brother, so the stairs, so you're on the landing,
Yeah.
which is only like 5 feet wide. And then if you go down the stairs, that's where it goes into wherever that white light is coming from.
Right. And at this point, two things. One, I don't know that we want to do that without everyone else being down here.
Right.
And two, if we are going to do that, because despite my ribbing him, he is very stealthy. He would stealth down first, and I would stealth down behind him.
Oh, okay. That's
Because
fine.
that's sort of the nature of our stuff. He's the frontline guy. I'm behind him.
All right.
He's death from behind or from above.
Yeah. I'm death from a distance. He's death in your face.
Okay. Cool. All right. So Arendar, you are going to stealth down and try and sort of like look into the room.
No.
All right, you're just going to stay there and see if anybody comes.
Do we have to move off the landing for the rest of the party to fit on the landing? Or will
Yeah.
we all fit? Okay. Then I might go down a step or two just so other people can come down and have room, but I'm not going far.
Well, and
Okay.
at this point, we assume that they're still investigating the surroundings because none of them have come here yet.
Right.
So when we start to hear them, like at the opening,
Then we'll start going down to make more room for them.
well, that or it's up to you. If we're going to try to stealth, we're going to fail once they start coming down because some of them aren't stealthy.
Right.
So, but if we start to stealth down now and there's a hiccup, then it's just the two of us, which doesn't bother me at all. But
No. I'm okay with that too. So
Lorelei
it's-
will be back there too as quick as she can, unless once she tells Polearm what's going on.
Okay, so she's going to fly down there. She will see these guys right away.
You
And catch
need
up with
another
them.
stealth check, or you want to keep what you had before?
Yeah, give me another stealth check as she goes back down there. She's re-entered the environment. Oh yeah, I think we're
oh,
fine.
good God.
so we don't even know she's there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
until you and Wraith is like, "Whoa, jeez, oh,
She's,
it's
sit-
you."
she's sitting on my shoulder and I don't know she's there.
She's gonna lick your ear and then fly away.
Surprise. Okay, so you guys are just hanging back to see what the guys upstairs are going to do before you make a move, right?
Effectively. And if we can gain intel, which we have sort of up to now, the light's been broken 3 or 4 times. There is something or someone down there, possibly multiple somethings. Based on the writing in that letter, there were a dozen or so of the damned. So
Mm-hmm.
at this point, now that Lorelei's here, we can have her sort of, I don't know, she can speak. So are they still messing with finding magic items or are they on their way? What the hell's going
Well,
on?
I don't know. What are you guys doing upstairs? Do you guys know that you're supposed to go downstairs at some point, or?
I think that's not our turn yet. We're kind of waiting, right? I'm just following.
Yeah, that's what
Oh.
Lorelei said basically, is it looked like there was promise there. So as soon as we get done finding the magic stuff up here, we're gonna go down.
Okay. All right. Who's going first? Because there's not a lot of room.
I'll watch the back,
Okay.
I guess. I don't know. Maybe
As soon
that's
as we
not
hear the
smart.
door open, then I will start stealthing down the stairs to start making room, and Wraith will probably stay right behind me,
Yeah.
Okay.
just to make room for them to come in behind us.
So Vondram said she's going last, or Vondi's going last.
Right.
I got no
Who's
spells.
who's going next? Poe or
Titus. And then the 2 local yokel guys.
Titus first? Okay. All right. So Titus, you begin making your way down this wooden ladder. Give me a quick stealth check. Yeah.
Okay.
I smell a natural 1 coming up.
Hey now.
He falls down the ladder.
-1.
-1.
Oh,
21 stealth. All right, so he's pretty quiet, and you're Wraith. You're pretty impressed. But you guys are crammed up in there, and you're like,
Like I said, once he gets there, I'm gonna start slowly making my way down the stairs.
Okay,
And I'm going to stealth down the stairs behind him 5 feet
okay,
or 5 feet behind him.
all right. Arendar, you have, by virtue of the fact of making room, you are going to have to step into the sort of doorway. How do you want to do that? Because you can tell that there's a fair amount of destroyed stonework down here. Is a little rubbly.
May I interrupt briefly? I don't
Of
have
course.
to work tomorrow, so I can play later. But to do so, I need to let my dogs out, which means I've got to disappear for 5 minutes or so.
I don't know. It's up to you guys. The rest of you guys want to play? You want to go a little long?
Go 15 minutes or so.
Yeah,
Right.
I'm good.
Go let the dogs out.
Okay.
Woof, 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 woof.
I'll
Right.
be back shortly. All right, girls, come on.
Arendar,
Who's that?
give
Don't
me
look at me like that, Jen. You knew we were both going to think of it.
I thought it and kept my mouth shut. You just let it roll.
Yeah, I don't fucking keep my mouth shut. You know better than that.
Okay, so if the trend keeps going, this roll is going to be a 3.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Nice.
So you roll a
Well.
stealth. Everybody's clustering around. You roll a 21 stealth and you slowly move and peer into the room.
Uh-oh. Ruh-roh, Roy.
Yeah.
Just
You
need
look in,
somewhere to sleep. Aren't we just supposed to be finding somewhere to
you
sleep?
look into
That's
the
what
room.
I was trying to do.
And at first you think the rubble and the damage to the room looks like it might be a cave of some sort. But then very quickly you realize that there's light coming from several areas. In some cases, there's the blue-white light that you see is coming from this thing here, which looks to be a man, a Sargavan or Chalaxian man who is standing still inside a magic circle. And he is surrounded by a blue-white light that encompasses his entire body. He does not seem to be moving, but his eyes are open and they are looking in your direction. You can't tell from here if he's looking at you or not, but he's certainly not moving. There are other little areas that emit light. You can see sort of here. These look like fluorescent crystals embedded in either the floor or the stone wall that seem to emit, a sort of basic fluorescence. Behind the man in the circle is a large altar. Which you can step up to. So there's altar here, and it looks to be on top of that altar looks to be the stone representation of a woman with a large sword and long hair. I mean, you can't tell the color because it's made of stone, but really long hair that goes way past her hips, but also a huge sword that she's holding in both hands. And over here, there seem to be some people lying down
With a lot of blood.
Well, it looks like it could be blood. Yeah, it looks like two strangely neat rows of people lying down on the ground in what looks to be which could be blood.
Or maybe it's just tomato paste.
Or maybe it's just tomato paste. It could be. This could be a pasta area.
Who dropped
And
the
they just-
damn pizza?
And they were messy and then just got it all over themselves on the floor.
I'm gonna say it was a grave.
Oh my
It's got
God.
tires.
Doubles. Nice.
Who did
All right,
that?
give me a perception check, Arendar.
Oh, less.
God, look at those ones. This is terrible. 15. Well, that beats a 10. So two things. One, over back behind, you can't make it out, but over back behind the statue of the woman with the sword, something's moving back there. In fact, you basically caught a glimpse of two sort of glowing eyes that, as you looked over, went whoop, and ducked out of sight.
Okay.
You also hear right about there a pebble goes rolling down a pile of pebbles and lands about there.
So it hit about right here.
Came from above, yeah, and sort of rolled down.
I'm looking up to the ceiling.
At the ceiling, you don't see anything on the ceiling.
And that's right above where the rock came from.
Well, no, you don't think a rock came from the ceiling and landed. You think that, well, frankly, what you think it is that something scooched something wrongly and some rocks rolled down an incline. So there may be something here. The problem is where you're standing, there's a bunch of rocks in the way. You can't really see back there. But there was a rock. It looks like maybe like a little rock avalanche.
Yep. Yep. Okay, so I know something's crossed the way and something's real close. Okay.
Nothing seems to have moved yet, though, at least as far as you can see. You also see there's a fair amount of water in the rear of the cave. You can hear it sort of lapping at the stone next to it, sort of.
Okay.
We
All
should
right.
be friends, right?
As soon as as soon as Wraith gets up behind me, I'm gonna basically lean towards him with my hands so I can point out where I'm seeing things. So I don't have to talk, but. Mhm.
So there's something over here and there's something over here.
Yeah.
All right. What do you do, if
Okay.
anything?
Bow's out, arrows ready, thumbs up.
All right. Titus has come down and he's behind you, Wraith, Lorelei in the middle.
I'm behind no one.
You rush out in front yelling Leroy Jenkins.
At least I got some chicken.
There is some room between Wraith and Arendar, but there's no room for anybody else to come down the ladder.
And Lorelei was so stealthy, we still don't know she's there.
Yes.
Yeah,
This doesn't look like a good scene. I wonder if these are the
It gets
40
worse.
tongues that bind him.
It's worse.
Wraith, why don't you come forward one more?
Okay,
And
I'll,
then,
I'll stealth forward. Do I need to roll for that?
Sure.
22.
God, I hope you guys don't make Vondram roll a spell.
so now there's room for one more to come down.
Yeah.
Yep. If Titus moves forward.
Oh, fine.
So is Poe next then?
I don't know. Is Poe
They are
next?
gonna make us roll a spell.
Sure, Poe will be next.
Clang.
Oh, jeez.
Poe comes down the ladder, immediately sees Lorelei and says, "Oh, hey, there you are."
Hey, what's up? Why is everybody being so quiet?
At least I don't need to worry about breaking the silence.
There you go.
But nothing happens inside the room. You don't see, I mean, you still think you haven't seen that creature sort of like scuttle across there. But you also don't hear anything else.
Okay.
Poe was loud. And
Yeah.
you're pretty sure that if there's anything in there, they probably heard it.
I know, yeah. I'm gonna whisper to Wraith. I'm gonna move towards the close thing. So as soon as it pops up to attack me, fill it full of arrows.
Thumbs up.
So take a 5-foot step forward.
Arendar, do you speak Elvish?
Yes.
All right. In Elvish, from over by the statue of the woman with the sword,
Mhm.
you hear a woman's voice come out from behind that says, "Visitors, are ye friend or foe of the Elvish people?"
Oh, show her your disco medallion.
Say I'm also of elvish descent.
Give me a quick perception check.
Ooh,
Arendar.
okay.
19 perception. You see those lanternfish eyes come back over the thing. Very quick. I mean, this much, no more than this.
Uh-huh.
But it's, you can tell that there's something back there that's looking right at you. Of elvish blood, yes, I can tell. Come forward so we may see you. Our eyes are only accustomed to the dark, and the light bothers them. Pray tell us, where are you from? How have you come to this place?
Oh,
I'll say we're from Gate Pass.
Gate Pass. It is a barbarian word. I don't know of this place. Is it an elvish village far from here? It does not sound like the name of an elvish place.
It is not an elvish village. There are many different races there.
How did you find yourself here in the shrine of the word that I forgot? Hold on a second.
Never done that as a DM. More than 15 times.
It's Anyariel. How did you find yourself coming to the Anyariel? Surely because of the flames, none are left alive upstairs.
You are correct about that. We were traveling through and were told by those we met outside the fire forest that we could rest here. When we arrived, everything upstairs is has burned.
Oh, the people who talked to you were correct. You may certainly rest here in safety and comfort. Please come forward. Show yourself so that I may show myself, and we may make what arrangements we have for you and your friends. Did you bring others of the elvish blood?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to ask you to come out and show me first. I haven't seen too many elves that.
Are you
have
saying
red
that you will
eyes.
show me yours if I show you mine first? Is that what you're saying?
Pretty much.
It is an elvish adolescent tradition, I understand.
I'll just say, because I do see glowing red eyes, right?
Well, not red. Sort of like those like lantern eyes. Do you ever see the pictures of like anglerfish? Sort
Like
of
the
in the
glowing red
Marianas
eyes?
Trench. They have
Yes.
the big glowing eyes. It's kind of like that.
Yeah.
Like Gollum.
So yeah, I'm not used to elves with eyes quite like yours. So
You see
Tell
her
me
head
about
sort
my
of like ducked down a little bit more, but she keeps one eye, above. Forgive me. We have been here in the shrine for so long that I dare say we have accommodated the conditions down here. It's not something I am proud of. In fact, I'm quite ashamed. Please, I beg of you, come forward and do not demand to look upon me. I'm afraid that what you see will shock and dismay you.
yeah.
Can I move over?
About that,
Okay.
there's a nice row of bodies over there. What happened there? Were you involved in that?
Oh, you mean my countrymen, my fellow villagers? They are simply resting and waiting.
Permanently.
Oh no, they're just resting. They have not eaten in a long time, so they are quite tired. It's been very difficult down here. But there's been no food since the fire forest took our farms and our gardens. It has been difficult for everyone.
They pining for the fjords.
Right, which means there's not been enough food down here to sustain anyone.
We took with us what we could and made it last. We have rationed as best we could.
Am I able to move over here?
Yeah, absolutely. And
Yeah,
you can see into the room next to him. You can see that sort of lanternfish eye kind of peering over. You can't make out any features though. Just these big globe eyes that glow with this sort of yellow white light.
Is it because of
Yeah.
the distance or the amount of light? Because I have dark vision.
It's probably a little of both.
Can I do a perception or something?
You have to, yeah, if you want to get in position to where you can see something. Yeah, absolutely.
Sure, I sure do.
Yeah, both Wraith and I have dark vision as well.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
In twin speak, I'm going to tell Arendar, ask her what her name is.
Okay.
Would that do it where I am now?
Hold on a second. Yeah, okay. You could look over, sort of looking over Arendar's shoulder. Give me a perception check.
I will do that.
And there's room for Bondrum down here now too.
Bondrum's got dark vision too.
We all have dark vision.
And stealth is no longer an issue.
Ah, jeez.
14. All right. You can easily see the creature over there. You can see the eyes. And the way that the shadows, you get the impression that this creature is very much used to hiding in those shadows and knows how to expertly conceal herself. However, you do at one point see, she zigs a little bit when she's sort of zagging. It's only for a briefest moment, but you do see what look to be, how do I describe this? Well, her head seems to be completely bald, and her ears are far more pointed than would normally be the case for an elf.
Hmm.
Like vampire?
I don't know. I mean, that'd be awfully cruel for a DM to throw against a fourth level. However, I've thrown bone devils at you, so yeah, why not a vampire? Could be.
I'm gonna ask her who her friend is that's right over next to me.
You mean my husband?
Sure.
He also is ashamed of what living here in the Shrine of Anyariel has done to him. He also wishes not to be seen. Please do not force us. Do not be so cruel as to force us to show ourselves. Please come in. I promise you, nothing untoward will happen.
Got this pitcher of water if you're thirsty.
Is her nose growing?
You can't see, she's behind there, so possibly. I don't know. She seems quite earnest.
So I'm sorry. You guys are gonna have to come.
Ask
To
her her
us.
name.
Yeah, what's your name?
My name is Ivornia.
That's not it.
Is that anything that's nothing we know?
No.
You guys have never heard that name, no.
Say,
My husband's name is Stuvriel.
It's Romanian.
Yeah, that doesn't help either.
no. So
If you promise not to shame me for what I have become, I will come into the light so that you may see me better. But please, you must in turn promise to come in. I tell you, this is a safe place. You will be safe here.
Uh-huh. Can I?
So
I
does anyone
wanna
else have
detect-
sense motive that can tell me?
Yeah, I was just gonna say
Checks
that.
the land?
You gonna try sense motive?
I'm not that good at it, so I'd probably think she's telling the truth
I
regardless.
suck at it.
Yeah, I'm willing to try.
Okay.
Cole can do that too. He's down here.
20.
20. Okay. Titus, what about you?
Let me.
Poe? You can't. It's hard for you to hear her, Poe. So you're not sure.
Sense votive 22.
22. All right. Well, so at first, I mean, she seems genuinely disconcerted and genuinely wants to help. But then you're like, wait a second. There's two lines of bodies over there and a big pool
Yeah.
of blood, which she has just said that these guys are resting.
Yeah. Yeah, that's not right. I know that.
You sense that this is well, certainly you sense that not everything is as it seems. She seems, and every time that she says, please come forward, please show yourselves, you're like, man, there's something is up. She is being, you guys are both convinced that she's being disingenuous about something.
Yeah.
Let's cast a dancing lights or something.
You see her slowly move out into the plea. She's deftly trying to avoid her. You can see her moving. Titus, give me a perception check as she moves out. She probably does not suspect that you have dark vision.
Okay. I'm not the only one.
Arendar and Wraith, you guys don't have dark vision. You guys have low light,
Yes.
right?
No, we have dark.
We have
vision.
dark vision.
Dark vision too. All right.
We're
What is
half
that?
drow.
Yeah.
All right. She moves slowly out. You can see she's still trying to avoid showing you. She doesn't suspect that you have dark vision, but this is what she looks like.
Oh yeah.
Alrighty then.
There won't be any rest for us tonight, is there?
Please. And she says, please forgive me. She moves out of this corner and in behind here so that this guy radiating the blue-white light is sort of interposed. So she sort of moves out of the way very quickly to get out of the way. Please, I've shown myself. Now, please come in. I assure you it is safe.
And based on the 20 sense motive, she's lying.
That would be your guess, yeah.
Okay.
And with a row of bodies.
Well, and her husband, there's a row of bodies there, and her husband hasn't done anything. He hasn't said a word. He hasn't made a move. You don't know where he is.
Yeah.
You
Well, I know
suspect he's over here,
I know he's somewhere over in here.
Yeah.
but you don't see him. She's trying, but she's trying to get you guys to
Right,
to get fully into the room.
I tell her I need to see her husband too.
"Oh, my husband, he is much," you could hear her, she's sort of talking out from behind the guy. "My husband is much more embarrassed of his condition than I am. I allow you to look at me because I know that it will be the only thing to convince you that we mean you no harm, but he is very, very shy and very, very shamed by his condition. You must forgive him."
Can't do that. Not unless I see him.
"Please, you must. Please, you must. Please, you must."
In twin speak,
Forgive
I'm gonna
him.
tell Ray, you ever get a good beat on her, a good line on her?
She being very quiet. You can sort of
Yeah.
see her every once in a while kind of popping around, but she is definitely using this guy in the blue-white kind of thing to keep from getting, directly in line
Yeah.
of sight.
Right. So I'm gonna try to stealth
Okay.
to here. Actually, hang on. I need to. There.
Okay.
And as I'm doing this conversation for Vondram and Poe, who came down later, I'll be pointing over in this direction as I'm talking about her.
To where you think
So they know that something else
Struviel
is
is?
over here.
The Struviel.
Over where?
Roll me another quick stealth check since you're moving pretty much in
Okay,
sight
here.
of her. Okay.
22.
Yeah, right in
So-
here is where I'm pointing when I'm talking about
And
her.
Lorelai is looking around there too, Les. She's flying high, trying to see.
Has she flown into the room and is flying up? Because
Yeah.
it's pretty tall. I mean, probably 20 feet, the cavern kind of thing.
Yep. She's trying to get a beat on anything else that's in that room.
Okay. Give me a Lorelei perception check. 18. All right. As she flies into the room, she kind of scoots over there. She gets a bird's eye view. These guys are not sleeping. And Lorelei can tell because, well, one, the giant pool of blood, but also the missing portions
Yeah.
of the people. It's interesting because the missing portions seem to have been very sort of neatly parceled out. It's not like they've been savaged. It's like they've been butchered.
Oh my.
She also
Kind of
sees
cannibalism.
hidden behind a cunningly constructed series of rocks over here, another creature that looks like this.
Oof.
What the?
Oh, Lord.
Now he is over there behind a cairn of sorts that he's built up. The reason it's so hard for you guys to see him is he has basically built his own cover. Now Lorelei, being high and into the room, gets a much better bird's eye view of him. But from where you guys are standing, the reality is you probably would have to move out to at least here, maybe even this glowing hunk of crystal before you could actually get a look at the guy.
Okay, so I'm gonna whisper behind me to the three behind me.
Mhm.
Stay behind me and do whatever range stuff you can from back there.
Okay.
So Titus might have to move over one more to allow
Sure.
the other ones to at least be able to.
Please, we have plenty of room. Please come in, make yourselves at home. We have water, although our food supplies are limited. Perhaps you have brought food of your own that you might share with us.
I don't think you eat the same things we do.
Do you say that out loud?
Yeah,
Whatever do you mean? Of course, we are all of elvish blood here. Surely you have some lembas bread in those satchels.
Uh-oh, he's taking measurements.
mhm.
No, I'm taking measurements.
That's not me. I'm like, wait a second. That's not me.
So just to, I only get sneak attack, even if I attack before they know I'm there. 'Cause
Mhm.
at this point, I assume my stealth has been enough that she doesn't notice me.
She's not looking at you, and she doesn't seem to have moved to avoid being in your sight. You get a much clearer look at her. She's definitely, and you can see her, she's definitely like sort of behind that
Right.
thing, that guy, and
And
she's
it's-
using the light to obscure herself, and you can see her actually making moves. I mean, you recognize that she's definitely trying to stay out of view.
Right. And at this point, I have line of sight.
You
Easily.
do have line of sight, yeah.
But even if I act in a surprise manner,
Mhm.
I don't get sneak attack if I'm farther than 30 feet away.
You
Okay.
do get sneak attack because they can't react to your.
That was my question. So even
Yes.
at greater than
You-
30 feet.
You do what basically as they're flat footed right now
Yeah.
because they don't know there's an arrow that's going to be coming from somewhere else.
Right.
They see me, so anything I would do, they would be ready for.
Yeah.
But they don't know about you, so they can't react. So that basically makes them flat-footed. So
Okay.
your first attack is going to be
Which means they don't get their dex bonus, and you get your sneak attack. Yeah, you'll still get the sneak attack even beyond 30.
Okay. So that was what I was sort of waiting for. While they're talking, Arendar sort of explained what was going on. I've moved over here. I have line of sight,
Mhm.
unbroken. I'm well within the range of the longbow. And so I'm going to fire 2 at her.
Okay.
Rapid shot with sneak attack.
All right. A 9 to hit is going to miss. And that first arrow, when it goes past her, she looks over at you and sees you, and you can see her jaw just sort of drops open much farther than it should. And you see her and she just makes this horrifying hiss noise.
And the second attack, the second arrow, because they happen simultaneously, is a 19.
19 is a hit, and it
That
will hit her.
does 11 points of damage.
11 points of damage.
Why does my
Okay.
sneak attack damage keep rolling freaking ones, man?
I don't know. It
It's like the
stabs at her.
fifth-
She's like,
you got a lot of ones.
so as the arrow slams into her, she's like, "Ah!" And well, we're in initiative, frankly. So let's roll it. Wait a second.
We should probably.
It's
call it.
almost 11:30. Do we want to stop here and start next time as we go into this battle, or do you guys want to do this battle?
I gotta finish a work project.
Yeah, no, I think now's where we stop. We start with
Yeah.
initiative next time.
Stop here. All right.
Unfortunately.
No, it's
Unfortunately.
okay. We'll stop here, and we
Are
will.
we doing B team on 5th Sunday then?
Do we have a 5th Sunday?
Yes.
Hold on. Let's have a look.
awesome.
Let's have a look at the calendar.
To be honest, I don't know. I'm confused because I thought this week was supposed to be 18. So I don't know.
No, 18 was last week. Was the first week in
You have a
October.
5th on the 30th. Oh, we're in.
So yeah,
California.
31st Halloween night is a Sunday, and that would be a 5th Sunday. So yeah, absolutely. We have a fifth game night. So
We're in Cali.
unless somebody outvotes you guys, we can do B team again on Halloween night.
B team always wins. So
Yeah, you can do the vote if you want to. We're going to outvote them.
We're in California, but we should be able to make it.
Okay.
It just depends on internet.
Right.
All right. Then let's make it official. B team Halloween night. And we will see.
See, interrupted by doorbells ringing.
yes.
Now just turn your light off. They don't ring the doorbell.
And
anymore.
by 8 o'clock,
Because
most of
they
my
usually
neighborhood is
between 8
bailed.
and 9 they stop, or they're supposed to anyway.
We'll see.
Holiday.
All right. Well, thank you guys. This was
All
awesome.
right.
Much obliged. And I will, some of you I will see on Friday at BDC, and some of you I will see on Sunday for A team.
Excellent.
Yeah, see you guys for
Sorry,
18.
And some of you I will see at dinner on Saturday night at Bartolino's.
Yes.
Right. Yeah.
All right.
How
Take
many
care,
of
guys.
us are
Thanks
there
again.
now?
See
How
ya.
many of us are going to be at dinner now? How many of us are there?
I think last time I heard it was Les, are you going?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're going. So Les and Marla, me and Amy, you and Gordon, Bob and Ellen, Don and Mindy, and Betsy and Luke.
12.
That's the last I heard.